that feels a little scary. Bump, what were you most afraid of when spring training began months ago?
I was afraid that this team would not be able to consistently put up runs. I was afraid that they would play with our emotions. And, with any team, unless you are one of these big dogs, right? You lose a few games, you start to think the worst. And I think that's where my mind is going right now. We hear it and see it every day on the text lines. People saying, hold your horses. It's still early in the season. I go, yeah, I understand that, but I got to take them for who they are right now. So like I did then, I have to do it now. I have to take them for who they are right now. And right now, in their last 4 losses, okay, something they have in common, simple baseball, bunch of Ks, no extra base hits, a home run here or there. And, if you're not able to slug, you ain't gonna get no love. Bars, okay? Their slugging is down slightly in the past month. Their walks have been down slightly because that's something that they've been able to depend on, right? All right, we won't hit the baseball. We got to get out. We're going to get on base, but we're not driving these runs in right now. Yeah, it's a slow decline, too. It's not like I look at the numbers and the percentages are down like 10, 15%. It's like, okay, 3% there, 4% there.
Yeah, you can unfortunately see
they're slowly trending in the wrong direction. So, yeah, this is what I was afraid of, that you get to a point where you're going to have this question about this team. We knew, I think you and I felt like we'd get here eventually. It's just, okay, we finally arrived. How do they get out of this?
Okay, so that is exactly part of what we're doing today. We have three things to cover as part of our open. We will get to some Seahawks stuff. Bump and I are live from Virginia Mason Athletic Center. OTA set to kick off in about 2 hours. We're going to have a chance to interview a player after the show, and you guys will get that tomorrow. Let's talk about what's not working. Then we'll get to what needs to happen, meaning performance-wise. Then we'll talk about what change could be made. Those are our 3 tasks. Let's start with number 1. What's not working?
What's not working? You're getting unlucky on the mound. I mean, we're going to talk about George Kirby and him getting smacked in the face by a baseball going, about 107. What's not working? The bottom of your order is disappearing again. There were times where this team put together some runs. I told you that's the first thing I look at is the bottom of the order to kind of see how those guys are being supported. What's not working? Yeah, boy Polanco, man, goodness gracious. We were just talking about him before we came on air, and he's 2 for his last 35 at-bats. His last home run was May 12th, and he's driven in maybe, I think, 2 runs since then as well. So the thing that was kind of catapulting this team and keeping them alive and making them look explosive that you weren't expecting was Polanco, and now he's back to what we thought of him or saw of him last year. So that's not working. You need another guy. You need another guy not named Cal or Julio to perform.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned that last home run on May 12th. The bulk of those home runs in general happening in April, kind of leading into May. So it's not even just like, oh, it's been an up and down May. It's been quiet.
Down.
It felt like just a sudden drop off. I also wrote Dylan Moore, not only defensive struggles. Remember when we thought this team could have some defensive liabilities, but Moore was making some really good plays. We were like, what a gem.
Right.
And don't overlook Dylan Moore. Dylan Moore also in April and March was hitting 286 with a 903 OPS. He's 192 for his last 14. He's not getting as many opportunities, which is worth noting. Like if I'm going to critique him for not getting as many hits or not being as productive, he's having less opportunities as they kind of work in Young and Williamson at third, obviously. But it used to be, I mean, not a month ago, Polanco and Moore were back-to-back AL Player of the Week winners. And then we were talking about, man, contributions from everyone.
Right.
Up and down the lineup. Leo Rivas getting on base. On-base percentage is phenomenal. Dylan Moore making some good defensive plays and obviously getting timely hits. And then look at Jorge Polanco just raking. Now it feels like a story about one guy. No disrespect to J.P. Crawford, who had 3 hits yesterday. Right. I don't want to overlook that. But it really does feel like the story's Cal, and that's kind of it. And in a day like yesterday when Cal goes 0 for 4, you don't do much as a team.
Yep. He is the clear-cut leader, and he is the one that relieves the stress for everyone else. It's crazy. He's doing it behind the plate for the pitchers, relieving that stress, and also in the batter's box. Someone just texted in. They said Julio's still not working. And I'm looking at his numbers, and it's been – March is always hard because you only play so many games in March, right? So let's just eliminate March. I'm looking at April. April was a struggle. His slash was 202, 297, 346, OPS 643. You get into May, his slash is 282, 319, 464, OPS is 783. And now you get to June, barely into June, right? But with 7 at-bats, he's at 286, 375, 286, and 661. So I wouldn't say Julio's not working. He's just not excelling. He's not standing out. He's not leading the charge. There's someone else doing that right now. So I would push back a little bit, and I wouldn't say Julio's not working. I just don't think that he's performing to the standard that people expect him to perform to because of who he is and what he means to this team. So that also would help, right, if Julio just went on one of his runs, and we're waiting for it. We're waiting for it, and I think it's trending. You know, he's not playing horrible baseball. It's trending. So, yes, I kind of agree with you. I believe that was 206, and I kind of don't at the same time because the numbers are saying that he's steadily improving.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to look at it. It lets us transition to the next part of this, which is what needs to happen. I know that your first answer would probably be that Julio looks like a superstar and just instead of just a suitable player. Like, I also disagree in general. That Julio's not working doesn't really check out for me. However, there is an onus and a responsibility on Julio getting paid what he's paying, being the prospect he is, having the talent and potential he does, that you just got to do more.
Yeah.
Bump, you've been part of locker rooms. Like some guys, it's just, hey, you might have had an okay day of practice, not good enough.
Yep.
You had one drop, not good enough. Like some guys just have a different responsibility.
Yeah, that comes with the pay grade. That comes with past performances. So that's what is knocking Julio right now is because, yes, he does need to perform better for this team to reach the heights that we think they can reach this year. But he might be trending in the right direction. The part that's really hurting the team is that you thought you found something else you can count on in Polanco and maybe even Randy as well. You know, Randy had his clutch moments. Did have a walk-off the other day, though, right? But it doesn't seem as consistent as it used to be. You can deal with all the Ks or whatnot as long as you're driving runs in and getting on base. And Randy has slowed down a little bit too. So we focus on Julio and Cal as we should and throw JP into that mix as well. But the lack of contributions from the guys that were helping you earlier in Polanco and Randy, that hurts as well. It's hard for me to look at the bottom of the order and say, all right, guys, come on, guys, 7, 8, 9. We need you. Like, all right, man, we'll take what we can from you guys. Yeah, Rowdy with a home run yesterday. He's been slowly contributing. Was that 10 on the year? I believe 9 or 10 home runs on the year. You know, I don't expect much from Solano. You get what you can from 7, 8, 9. And 7, 8, 9, we're doing some things about a month ago with the contributions of the middle of the order. Now it seems like everything's off balance.
Another thing to talk about is 7, 8, 9 has also included some young guys. And there are stories that we've had earlier this year that I remember us talking about where, oh my God, the way that this team has been able to overcome injuries, and credit to these young guys, right? Like, you know, you don't want injuries, but it's made the room for Ben Williamson to come up and kind of develop. Logan Evans obviously had a great start before being sent back down again. And Cole Young had his walk-off.
Right.
Well, Cole Young was 0 for 3 with a strikeout yesterday, and Williamson has not quite adjusted as the league has adjusted to him.
Yeah.
Brian Roland-Smith talking about this. So it's like part of what's not working right now as well is that the hope and excitement that a call-up gives you is usually kind of temporary. Then comes a very long and arduous learning curve.
It's reality.
And while Williamson and Young figure it out, you'd hope that one of Polanco, Randy, Dylan Moore, those names, Julio, those names that we just talked about, would be hot, but that's not the case.
No, it's not. It's tough, man, to ask a young fella like Cole Young to come in and save the day. I don't think people were asking him to do that, but because of the numbers he was putting up in Tacoma, you're thinking, man, he's going to come up here and he should be okay. It's just a different type of game once you reach the bigs. Yeah. He's got to go through his adjustment period as well. So now what's the job of the Mariners right now? Now I feel like they're in that mode to where you just got to scrape by. You got to scrape by and win games. I don't care if it's 2-1, 3-2, whatever. Like, you have that in you. You've shown that you can be that type of team. Last year was you've done it a lot. This year, you've done it a few times. But when you're struggling, you just find ways to win. So this is where I think, you know, people were talking about these guys playing small ball. I think teams play small ball when they can't manufacture runs. They say we have to do anything we can just to get on base. Keep swinging for the fences if I'm Cal, if I'm any of my power hitters. But now let's see if Dan changes his approach just a little bit, just trying to get guys on base.
Let's get to that third part. So what's not working? Too many bats have cooled at the same time. What needs to happen for you, it's, hey, one of those bats, Julio, needs to get hot. Yep. Someone needs to get hot. Another thing that needs to happen is you just got to power through until this trade deadline starts to open up a bit more.
Yeah.
3, well, what change could be made? We don't have to attach, this doesn't have to be an imminent change, but one idea that we always see, call up Harry Ford. How would you feel about that, Jake?
Nah, I mean, where are you going to put him? Where are you going to put him? You know, it's I understand he's an athlete and he can play multiple positions. People have mentioned third base, outfield as well. But nah, I think a roster full of young guys typically isn't going to win a bunch of ball games because you cannot depend on those young guys. They can have their moments. They can develop, but you don't want to have 3 guys on this roster who you're hoping is completely outperform what we think they're capable of doing. You're sitting there crossing your fingers. No, what you want to do is have your veterans who have been here to play to their baseball card, or maybe you go ahead and grab somebody who has shown that they can do it on this level. I think Harry Ford is going to be fine eventually. I think Cole Young's going to be fine eventually. But to ask those young men to come up here and perform like they were doing in Tacoma just isn't realistic right now. Just not right now. They got the potential in them, but it's just not realistic right now. So, no, leave Harry, okay? You know what? Demo, let's go. All right, come on. You know what? Randy, let's go get it. I'm not going to ask a 21, 22-year-old, 23 to come in here and save the day.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And I think a lot of what we see in argument might be like, well, how could he be worse? Well, what if he's the same? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I totally get, like, well, how could someone be worse than, some 7-8-9 bat or Donovan Solano just not raking? Okay, well, what if he's also not doing anything? You still have the same problem. Another possible change, not imminent, but under the category of what change could be made, acquiring a bat or dealing one of those top prospects, basically change from outside.
Yeah, that is that's the toughest one for me because I see you, Logan Evans. You know, I mean, I see you. You know, I see you, Emerson. You know, I feel George, you're going to be fine. Castillo's coming around. Logan, did he get his second rehab start the other day? Tonight. All right. I see you. It's until the whole band is together, I'm not touching that rotation. I just don't want to touch it. But you know that if you want to go get a for real rental bat, you're probably going to have to deal with one of those young arms. Yeah. So I think it's contingent on how Logan looks, if Kirby can bounce back, Brash can stay healthy. The headliners in that pitching staff, I need to see just give me another week of just looking solid, and then we can talk about that. But, yeah, the more I see these young guys, the more I don't want to get rid of them because I see the potential in them. But you know that to this point, you just don't have the bats right now. Yeah. So you might have to have that conversation.
What bat are you watching closely tonight? I mean, we started this by saying, hey, the big problem is bats have cooled at the same time. Who do you have your eye on before we transition?
I mean, the easy one is always Julio, right?
Yeah.
Because he needs to play better. You know, and I'm looking at the text lines, and I feel y'all for sure. Like, I feel you. They're talking about, we can't keep saying Julio's fine. We can't say he's okay. And I'm like, no, we can't. But he ain't bad, though, right now. He's not bad.
I think you can do both. You can acknowledge that it is hyperbolic to say, like, Julio's a bum, he's not doing anything. I think that's an overreaction. But I also think that it's fair to say Julio's not doing enough.
Yeah, it's not doing enough.
Yeah, like it's I only pump the brakes, and I know you do too, when someone says, like, trade Julio, why do we even have him? And it's like, because of potential, because if Julio's name was Leo Rivas and you were seeing these same numbers, you'd be elated.
Yeah.
But
his name's Julio.
Yeah, his name's Julio. He's getting paid a good chunk of money, and so he's going to need to do more. But that was part of Bump's answer for our second part here was, hey, what's not working and what needs to happen. What needs to happen is, hey, Julio, play up to the potential. Don't just be a serviceable bat, a fine replacement bat. Be above replacement. Okay, let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
The Edmonton Oilers host the Florida Panthers for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight. What's the real headline?
Connor McDavid is still looking for his first Stanley Cup, but I have 2, so he can have one of mine. I actually have 3.
Do you?
Yes.
I think my daughter has 2 as well. And then we got like some knockoff Stanleys. She likes them though.
I do. Every time I see a new color, like Target has these yellow ones now, and I pass them and I almost bought one. I literally picked it up, put it in my cart, took 3 steps, and was like, Stacy, stop it.
How much are they?
Like
$100?
No. Let me see. I think they're like $40, right?
$40.
Let's see. Stanley Cup, maybe 50.
Well, let's.
Well, that's not the Stanley Cup we're talking about.
Let's get Connor McDavid one. I've mentioned it before, man, on one of my 4 rounds instead of 4 downs that he is the guy that I really want to have success. I know as an American, we don't want a Canadian team to win a Stanley Cup. It's been 30 years, but forget all that noise, man. 385 points the last 3 seasons. That's the most in NHL. 263 assists, top 2 in the NHL. You just watch this young man play. It's ridiculous. The body control is crazy. 19 game-winning goals. It's only right. That's the only thing this man is missing from his story, and I want him to go get it, but we know that Florida is a good club.
Headline rewrites.
After last night's loss to the Orioles, the Mariners are half a game behind the Astros in the AL West standings. What's the real headline?
Between that loss and George Kirby getting hit, the Mariners now have to stop 2 kinds of bleeding.
Yeah, they do. And stop it fast, man. And, before this season, the series started, we were looking at the Orioles and saying you should win this, but you also know you can't look past anybody, especially when you are the Mariners. So, we put some pressure on guys. They lost 4 of their last 10. We've been asking for Polanco to step up a bit. 2 hits his last 35 ABs. We need Randy to have those clutch moments. And then, you know what? Julio have clutch moments because he's playing okay, but he hasn't came through since. I want to say he had like a double with the bases were loaded a couple series ago. That's probably the last time that I felt like he came through in the clutch, and he's had other opportunities. So yeah, you win this one today, we might feel different about this ball club, but we're gonna need some consistency from some other names.
Kirby he gave up 8 hits total, mostly singles, and then obviously allowed 2 earned runs. Bump, I'd consider that a better outing, but how did you feel overall? We didn't talk about Kirby a ton in the open.
I felt better about it. It's who was I listening to? Wyman on my drive home yesterday. He said the first, and it was perfectly the way he described it. Like his first outing was, okay, we'll see. Second one, let's get a bit better. Third, all right, we're moving in the right direction. And the fourth one, you're like, now we need to see it. I think he's on track to do exactly that. Unfortunately, he got hit in the face. That was a bit scary, but I was okay with how he looked yesterday.
Yeah, I think so too. I get it, right? Like, we think of Kirby as being one of the best arms on this staff, and obviously just immense control last year that doesn't seem to quite be there this year. And with Logan still down, you just think like, oh my God, can there be some answer? Like, if I don't trust that the bats are going to suddenly get hot, I desperately need this team to get back to elite pitching, and it's just not. But there's still plenty of play left, and I would also count a step forward as the 2 runs allowed. Like, it wasn't perfect, but like it did feel like a little bit of a step forward for Kirby. I agree. What's next?
Headline rewrites.
The Colorado Rockies won their series against the Marlins and snapped their streak of 22 consecutive series losses. What's the real headline?
Narrowing the Dodgers' lead to 26 games. Look out, LA.
Hang in there. Yeah, we got to look over our shoulder. Talking about Colorado.
About to make your life rocky.
11-50 on the season. They have the worst team batting average, worst team on base percentage, worst or second or third worst slugging, worst OPS. They have created the least amount of strikeouts on the mound, the 3rd least quality starts, 0 shutouts. But then I had a little side note. Seattle has 1, so we're right there with you, Colorado. Yeah, when I see things like this, teams that are absolutely no threat to anybody, okay, I appreciate that. I applaud and say you go ahead and win, because I cannot imagine being on that team. The 2 worst teams I've ever played on, one was here in Seattle. We were 4-12. The other one was when I was in high school, like my sophomore year. We were like 2-10 or something like that. And it is frustrating. I can imagine doing that for over 160 games. Football is so short compared to a MLB season. But man, good for you, Colorado. Give your people something to cheer about. And I think they're playing right now too. So let's see if they can go back to back.
And I was just looking at the scoreboard. Look, I don't want to jinx them, but last time I checked, they were up 1-0 on the Marlins. I got to bring up the scoreboard again. I mean, we could be looking at a sweep here. I think this is where the season turns around.
This is where it all changes.
Did Matt and I look at the playoff odds for the Rockies? Yes. Are they still at exactly 0%? Yes, that is correct.
Yes.
They're absolutely gone. They're not relevant in any way this season, of course, but we were so happy for them. And,
it's crazy that Colorado, I don't know much about their organization and how much they spend or whatnot, but Denver's such a cool spot. You would think, and it's a hitter-friendly ballpark as well. You would think they'd be able to bring some talent over there. I got to do some research on the history of the Rockies and see exactly what's stopping them.
I need someone who knows more about the Rockies, and I don't know how many people are like that in the Seattle market. But to tell me if, like, is this an intentional kind of tank? Is this horrible, like a horrible GM job? Was there 5 trades that backfired? Like, I regretfully I'm not a massive Rockies fan. I don't know what's happening. And I need to know, like, where did this go so wrong to where you are Cleveland Spiders-esque, historic levels of badness. Let's see. We have someone asking, we'll take about a minute just hitting the text line before we keep it pushing to the Seahawks here. Why is Polanco in the lineup and not on the IL? I thought that Cole Young being called up, the corresponding move might be Polanco to the IL. Mm-hmm. Maybe they just don't think maybe they think it's more, he's just in a slump. He's not hurt. He's in a slump.
I think that's what they think. I think they're looking at what he did to start the season and saying he can get there. We can get him back to where he was, and maybe they can. But at some point, we talked about this yesterday. Mm-hmm. What's the point to where you have to make a move? You cannot continue down this road. I don't think they're there yet because it's only been like a week or two of them. Just anything. It can be Polanco, a young guy, an arm, whatever. Like, when do we start seeing these major type of moves? And you have to be patient in this game because there's so many games being played. But once you start looking like the team that we saw last year and the year before, you got to get a little antsy, I would hope, at least.
Sam Darnold is coming off a career year, but in a brand new environment. Can we expect the same level of production? We all know the questions when it comes to Sam, but let's talk about the potential next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
When Cal comes into work, he's a catcher. He's looking at game plans and how to get guys. So I know there's been a lot of talk about the heavy workload, but he's built for that. Some guys are just built to last.
Dan, he knows what it takes to be a catcher. He knows that life. He knows the grind and the pain in the knees and the lower back.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Search tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with no credit financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment needed, and financing is available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
The perfect Father's Day gift. Time. This year, take Dad to LeMay, America's Car Museum, to explore 100 years of rare and luxurious vehicles and get your adrenaline rush in the racing simulators. Fun for all. Visit americascarmuseum.org today.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hey, it's Dave Wyman, and before you make that decision, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Why? Because he gives it to you straight. Dr. Wagner said my right knee needs replacement, and I appreciate his honesty and expertise. My left knee is fine right now, but the minute it isn't, I'm heading to Dr. Wagner for his expert opinion. I want to avoid another surgery, and I've heard so many patients rave about results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. He's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience and has performed more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy without pain and without surgery. Whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
There's plenty of doubt surrounding Sam Darnold, but we're going to talk about the things that we're confident about. Obviously, this is stemming from a conversation yesterday. Sam Darnold had a not-so-great day at OTAs on Monday, and then for an interview Tuesday morning, Mike Salk, I thought it was a fine question, but he asked...
It's a crazy question.
He asked Mike McDonald during the interview if there was any way outside of injury that anyone other than Darnold could win the starting quarterback job. Cut 7. Here's what McDonald said.
This is a crazy question. There's just not going to, Sam's our starting quarterback. We love him. He's doing a tremendous job. I think it's funny that the media is out there for the first day and all of a sudden they know exactly how good we're going to be and how good all the players are and all the tempos. We don't even put on pads yet. We haven't made one tackle. And it turns out in practice, it's a great way to build culture by letting guys know that they can't make mistakes. That's exactly what we're shooting for. So go out to practice, be tight, make sure you don't make a mistake. Because then, God forbid, you're the worst player of all time because you made one bad throw or one bad decision. It's that is not what we're trying to build. We want these guys to go prepare the right way, and then when they go out on the practice field, go freaking let it rip. And then we'll go fix it. We'll go. We got time. It's June. It's June 3rd. We'll go. Okay, they're going to get plenty of reps. We'll get those things fixed. I mean, Sam made a lot of great throws yesterday. He's gashing us on 3rd and goal to start the day out too. So yeah, that was kind of a crazy question.
Now, for what it's worth, John Schneider on Rich Eisen earlier this spring, cut number 9, talked about his own expectations for Darnold.
Yeah, very high, very high. You know, you can see the progress, as you stated, you know, getting with the group and, you know, Kyle and those guys in San Francisco, and then where Kevin and his group, you know, took it last year. He just keeps making really cool progress every year. And, you know, to have, you know, a system, you know, established system in place that he's played in and comfortable with is a big deal. And so, you know, great human, great competitor. He's been a great leader so far. Yeah, just, I know you guys know him well, but excited to get him in the building.
Okay, so Mike Salk asked the question because what reporters saw Monday was a shaky, somewhat inconsistent Sam Darnold. Let's talk about what John Schneider might be seeing, Bump, when he's looking at the tape. You've been watching some Sam Darnold tape leading into the show. Tell us what you see if we're talking about Sam Darnold's potential.
I see a guy who, when has time, he understands what he's doing. He understands what he's looking at least for one season, okay? No one's crowning him, but I have to go off of what I saw last year. And I honestly, I went to one of the games where people were calling for him, right? I watched the 31-9 loss to the Detroit Lions, and I want to see, all right, when he's at his worst, what does it look like? And I watched that game, and I walked away from it thinking Detroit Lions just played better than the Vikings that day. Darnold's numbers were not crazy. 18 of 41, 166, no touchdowns, no interceptions. But they weren't able to find rhythm. And in that game, the Lions did a great job of man across the board. Lots of the time, they're sending pressure, and receivers just weren't getting open. And if you're a quarterback and your receivers aren't getting open, now you're forced to make these tight throws, and you get a little nervous, you get a little scared. There were a couple throws that were tight. Receiver drops the football. There's another throw where he sails it a little bit because he's trying to put it in a place to where he doesn't put it in harm's way. No interceptions for the most part. He didn't do that. So then I go back and I look at games where he played exceptionally well. Let's go to the 42-41 win against the Atlanta Falcons, 22 of 28, 347, 78 completion percentage, and he had 5 touchdowns. Different team, right? Atlanta Falcons aren't as talented as the Detroit Lions, but their receivers are getting open. The play action was working. I mean, he's a capable quarterback. Capable of winning a Super Bowl? I don't know. I wouldn't say that right now. Capable of keeping a team competitive and getting to the playoffs? I would definitely say that. I don't watch the film and scratch my head. There are some quarterbacks, when I watch the film, I'm like, he ain't going to be in this league very long. He's just not. Or he's going to be a career backup, and it's over for him. I don't see that with Sam Darnold. I think he's more athletic than he gets credit for, but I think that there are obviously some things that he needs to work on. Like the receivers failed him, honestly, against the Detroit Lions. The defense just played better. There's some tight coverage out there, and he's got to be comfortable making those throws. Look at Pat Mahomes. Okay, I'm going to go with the best in the game right now. He'll drop a dime over his shoulder. He'll slide it in a little window. Josh Allen will do the same thing. And that's what separates the good NFL quarterbacks from the great ones. Like the great ones will fit it into a place you're not supposed to, where you're watching film and your coach is going to tell you, you're lucky you completed that pass because you're not supposed to go there. Sam just isn't that dude right now. Can he develop into that? Who knows? Because with more reps, you get more confident and you start believing that you can make some of those throws.
I'm glad you mentioned that's what separates the elite great quarterbacks from the good ones, because I think there are a lot of good quarterbacks.
Yep.
There are a lot of perfectly fine quarterbacks, and we as NFL fans tend to do this thing where either you are or are not. Either you are a guy that can win a Super Bowl or you're nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that what we saw last year with the Eagles is with an incredibly talented, deep Eagles team and a quarterback who certainly was elite with rushing the ball and goal line situations and red zone situations, just not the most elite passer, that was enough. Sometimes I feel like it's, not a waste of time, but we kind of want everyone to prove that they can be Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady, and Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady are the only two modern examples of quarterbacks who have led teams to multiple Super Bowls.
Right.
Like if you go back and you look at Super Bowl winning teams and just look at the quarterbacks, you're going to find the same 10 names most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Just going back throughout, like including back in early 2000s, 90s, 80s, whatever. You're going to find most of the same names.
You got Brady. You got Mahomes. You have Eli, which is a sneaky one that you throw in there.
Peyton Manning obviously won a couple.
Peyton. Favre only got one. Dan didn't get any.
Rodgers got one.
Rodgers got one. Breeze. Now you got to go to the 80s. Montana got a few. Terry Bradshaw a few. It's a difficult thing to do. And I always look at Troy Aikman, too. Right? Troy Aikman, obviously 3 Super Bowls with the Cowboys. He was nowhere near the best player on that team. You look at his numbers, they're not impressive. But because you had one of the best running backs in the game, because your defense was on point, you had a stellar wideout on the other side, you bring over talent like Deion Sanders. I don't think he won one with the Cowboys, but you bring over a talent like Deion Sanders, it's all right, that's one way to build it. And when you compare, if I compare Sam Darnold to Jalen Hurts, the only thing I can say Jalen Hurts has on Sam Darnold is that he's a better athlete, can run the football. Other than that, like if you put a Jalen Hurts over here in an offense like this, I think we're still going to have some questions because he doesn't have the same defense, wideouts, running back or whatnot. It's a complete sport, team sport. But well, he has to, if this team wants to be a playoff type of team, there's still some things that Sam needs to work on and improve on.
I agree, though. The overall point that I hear you're making being like, the question isn't really, can Sam Darnold win you a Super Bowl? That's a waste of time question. And you can look at the tape, as I know that you did that this morning looking at Sam Darnold tape, but you've been watching Sam Darnold tape before he was signed and since he was signed. And I know that you talked a lot about the Vikings offense last year, so you're well-versed on Sam Darnold. Even you looking at that are like, yeah, there's some stuff to like. There's stuff he doesn't get enough credit for, but it's a waste of time to ask, can Sam Darnold win you a Super Bowl? The question in Seattle you need to ask is, can your defense, can your run game, can your offensive line, can your coaching, can your scheme, can your coordinator, can that win you a Super Bowl? Because that's what's ultimately going to matter here. There's 3 teams that don't need to question, like, whether they have an entirely complete team. Mm-hmm. Everyone else needs to look under every single nook and cranny to make sure.
The stars got to align. The stars have to align if you're not working with the best QB in the game and a whole bunch of talent. I bet you this year, Philly's not going to go back-to-back. They're not going to win the Super Bowl again. They're going to be contenders. They're going to be in the mix. I'm going to go out there and say they're not going to go back-to-back. Do we really think that Saquon Barkley's going to have the year that he had last year?
No.
It'd be nice to see it, but chances are he's not going to do that.
And he's got the Madden curse.
Exactly. So it's hard to do, and expectations have to fit your team situation. So right now, my expectation for this team is just to be contenders in the division and make the playoffs. Develop Sam Darnold so you figure out what you want to do that second year with his contract.
Bump's got something to get off his chest. That's coming up next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
You know, when Cal comes into work, I mean, he's a catcher. He's looking at game plans and how to get guys. So I know there's been a lot of talk about the heavy workload, but I mean, he's built for that. Some guys are just built to last.
Dan, he knows what it takes to be a catcher. He knows that life. He knows the grind and the pain in the knees and the lower back.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Do you have a car you want to sell, but you just don't want to go through the hassle? I don't blame you. With all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people are just uncomfortable selling their own car. So what to do now? You want to get the most money for your car without selling it yourself. Stacy here with the answer. It's Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Listen to this. Not only will they purchase your used car and pay you right up front for it, but once they resell your old car, they share half the profit with you. The question I get most is, what's the catch? But there isn't one. Here's how it works. With all the money they save by not traveling to buy cars at auction, not paying purchase fees, shipping fees, or travel expenses, that's money saved. This program lets them share that saved money with you, their customer, rather than outside vendors. They encourage you to shop around, but if Wayscar Ford can pay you the same or more as competitors and share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you go anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with their customers. It's only at Wayscar Ford, wayscarford.com.
The American Band, the legendary Grand Funk Railroad, is rolling into Muckleshoot Event Center Wednesday, August 6th with special guest Jefferson Starship. Don't miss this night of classic rock that defined a generation. Get tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com. Grand Funk Railroad with special guest Jefferson Starship. Only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement. Book a free estimate online, and when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. It's Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with no credit financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment needed, and financing is available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Ready for some summer hoops? Register your team for the July 12th and 13th Everett 3-on-3 tournament presented by Boeing. 4 players to a team, 2 days of exciting action, 1 incredible tournament. Players of all ages and abilities are encouraged to come out and play. Go to everett3on3.net today and sign up your team. That's everett3on3.net. A special thank you to event major sponsors Amazon, City of Everett, Snohomish County TPA, and Tulalip Resort Casino.
The Bump and Stacy Show is powered in part each day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Guys, I'll never forget the first time I saw somebody get results at our clinic. He was an 81-year-old man who hadn't been intimate with his wife in over 8 years. Viagra had stopped working for him, and he was desperate for help. After several treatments, he walked into my office and told me he couldn't believe the results. Needless to say, this was a very happy man. This man made me a believer in what we do. He had taken pills for years, but he had never fixed the problem. When he came to us, we fixed the problem. Our treatment does what no pill can do. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today, like the thousands of men who already have.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We got some fun guests coming up in the 11 a.m. hour. At 11, Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman is going to join us to talk about what's going on with the Mariners and when we could see some movement ahead of the trade deadline. I know it's early June and end of July is when we're looking at those moves being made, but the Mariners desperately need help. At 11:30, Marcus Trufant is going to join us, and then we're going to have some fun with the timeline. An interesting Seahawks story from the Super Bowl. That's all coming up next hour. Right now, it's Wednesday. It's 10:45. It's time for Get Off My Lawn Bump. You got 3 things grinding your gears, driving you crazy. What's on your mind?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Okay, let's get it. Who's calling my phone? It's Drake. I don't know that song. That song's stuck in my head. No Kia. Anyway, so first thing that I'm going to spit out right now. Listen, man. We're in a world of this has nothing to do with sports. We're in a world of technology where you can really take advantage of people. And you put one of your phone numbers into a search engine or something, and you give your email out. Now you're getting all these dang calls, and I got.
This is your most get off my lawn weakness.
I got. Not for like someone calling me or texting me, but I was on Instagram. And, summertime is here. It's coming up, and I need to restock my T-shirt game. My white tees, my black tees, my brown tees. Sure. I need to restock. And the phone's listening to me clearly talk about this. So it's showing me all these ads. And I go to this one site. I go, I saw the reviews. They're good. I get, 10 shirts for $35, $40, white tees. The collar is nice and tight. It rests on your arms the right way. Sure. Still ain't got those things. It's been over a month and a half, I still haven't got my dang T-shirt.
You're not getting those.
It's ridiculous. It's gone. It's gone. It's the second time I got. I got a few years ago with a Kobe sweater that I never, ever got. How do you put your face on Instagram and advertise something knowing that you are just going to take people's money? I hope your friends hold you accountable. I hope your mom disowns you. And I hope you get in a lot of trouble for this because you're taking people's money.
No, wait.
I want my white tees.
Bump. How much were these white tees?
It was like $35.
Oh, okay.
For like 10.
Oh, well, that's a suspicious price.
It is. I knew it was.
Hang on. What do you? Hang on.
35 for 10.
35
yeah.
for 10 shirts.
It was like 8 to 10. I'm not sure.
Bump, your tees are coming from China. You got tariffs. That's your problem right now. Those tariffs are in the way for you. These are not tees that are coming from within the country. No, I'm promising you that.
And to that young man who sold me, I sat there and I watched that minute video and I was like, yeah, I like that shirt. What, 10 for like $35, $40?
No way.
Yeah, let's go get them. I got.
Oh my God.
I hate you.
Oh, I hope that you get them. What's
I'm not.
Next?
They're gone.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Okay, this is not I'm hating on one person. It's just like, let's recognize the other person. Okay. And I'm talking about Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh. Aaron Judge is having a great season. Okay. He is a monster. 6'7", 280-something pounds. Number 99. Who wears number 99 on the baseball field? He does. All right? This man is a monster. But he plays in a Mickey Mouse Mickey Mouse ballpark, okay? It's Mickey Mouse. At home, he has 10 home runs, 22 RBIs, and I threw in the stolen bases because I know the dumper has him there, okay? It's the 13th easiest ballpark to get a hit, Seattle 28th. It's the third easiest to hit a home run, Seattle 19th. It has the third most hard-hit baseballs this year, okay? Seattle 25th. Batters eye me, please. It's the 16th best on-base percentage, Seattle 28. My guy Dumper has 12 bombs, 22 RBIs, and 4 stolen bases, and he catches every day, and he manages personalities. It's like he's dating 6 people. All right, that rotation, he's got to manage Kirby. He's got to manage Castillo. He is the guy out there, okay? And he's not supposed to be hitting like this. He's a catcher for crying out loud. He's having the best season a catcher has ever had. We'll see this continue. So I'm not hating on Judge. Judge, you're going to get MVP.
Yeah.
All right? You are a big man. You have a lot of success. Not in the playoffs, but you have a lot of individual success, and you deserve everything. But when you play at Disneyland, okay, and my guy is playing at the hardest ballpark to hit, I'm going to roll with Cal. Love you, Cal. Respect to Judge. Homer take, but it's real. I ain't lying. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie.
At your Mickey Mouse park. What's last?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
All right, here's what it's the weather's getting nice. And with the weather getting nice, guess what people are doing?
Going outside?
They're playing golf.
Oh my God.
Playing golf. And
I should have known. There was a golf one last week. There's a golf one this week.
If I can do it, I'm gonna do it every week.
You could do 3 a week.
I could. But there's I get invited to these golf tournaments. Like when I take my days off in the summertime, you know where I'm at. I'm at some type of golf tournament, or I'm watching my babies play soccer in California or something like that. And I just got invited to about 3 or 4, so my schedule's pretty full. It's pretty full when it comes to golf tournaments. But I just played in a charity one on Monday, and it kills me how these golfers come out here and be lying about their dang scores. They be lying, and you know they're lying. So here's a scramble. Here's how a scramble works, Stacy. Is you got 4 guys on a team. everybody hits. Okay, you take the best ball, and then everyone hits from there. You take the best ball, everyone hits from there. Okay. So the scores are gonna come in low. Like, it's natural because you get 4 chances at the same shot. But some of these dudes are coming in with 40-something, 47, 48, and I'm looking at them like, I saw all y'all golf swings. I saw all of them. You're a 20 handicap. You're a 17. You're cool. You're a 7.
You're
like,
cool.
like, come on, man. Stop lying at these golf tournaments. There's somebody listening right now who has lied at a golf tournament.
For charity.
For charity. That's the reason why I've been playing in tournaments for 10 years. I got 1 championship. You know why?
Yeah.
Because I am a man of integrity. And I do not lie about my score, and I won't let my teammates lie about our score. We want to win straight up. All right? So it's golf tournament season. Don't be lying out there. Do it for the kids, not for your own pride.
Here's my favorite thing about Get Off My Lawn today. You did get fooled by like 10 shirts for $30.
Got me.
Thinking that was a deal that totally made sense. Oh, these high quality, sweat wicking fabric shirts. Only $30? $3 a shirt. Sign me up. You will not be fooled by golf scores a little bit low. Like all of a sudden you've got your, glasses and you're just, oh my God, I'm immediately analyzing every place that this falls apart.
Yes.
And I will let you know, I think all of our texters are just like you. I already know some dads on this text line texting in. 360 says, same thing happened to me. 7 pairs of pants for $40. Never saw. 7 pants? 7 pants for $40. One pair of pants is more than $40.
It was like a surplus store or something like that.
Oh my
extra,
God.
I'm extra.
As a routine shopper, okay, including an online shopper, in person, I'm foot to pavement with supporting brick and mortar. I love shopping. You guys are insane. And all of you, from now on, you guys just need to run these deals by me.
I am.
Okay?
I'm seeing the link.
From now on, you need to be like, does this look normal? And I'm going to say, a pair of Gucci sunglasses for $17? No. No, I know you wouldn't fall for that. I know you wouldn't.
No, not for that. But T-shirts?
7 pants for $40.
Pants? Man, I bet you those are like the stretchy pants, too. I feel you, brother. I feel you, man.
Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman joining us next.
Brock and Salk.
Coach McDonald, is there anything that could happen other than an injury between now and the beginning of the season that would lead to a different quarterback?
This is a crazy question. There's just not going to, like, Sam's our starting quarterback. I think it's funny that the media is out there for like the first day and all of a sudden they know exactly how good we're going to be and how good all the players are. And it's like, we don't even put on pads yet. Yeah, that was kind of a crazy question.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
If you've been in a wreck or a fender bender,
you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility, not just where your insurance company tells you to go. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. With over 25 years of auto repair work, they'll exceed your expectations.
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
At Accurate Auto Body, all their work is performed by certified technicians, only using OEM parts to guarantee the safety of you and your family. For the best in auto body collision repair and customer service, give them a call at 425-883-2450 or AccurateAutoBodyWA.com. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service. 98 years providing logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linens, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. Visit suplinen.com.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment.
Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
It's time. Time for the pro to get everything for the job delivered. Large orders of lumber, doors, windows, paint, plumbing, anything the job needs, all from one partner. Get it today with same-day delivery. Get it tomorrow with next-day delivery on 50,000 plus products. Or get it on your timeline with scheduled delivery on everything from framing to flooring. It's time to get your whole job, all your jobs delivered. Ask about all our new delivery options at the Pro Desk. The Home Depot Pro, it's about time.
With Progressive's collision coverage, my family gets up to $1,000 for vet bills if I'm injured in a car accident. And that makes this Chihuahua really feel like part of the family. What's that? I don't sound like a Chihuahua? Oh, I'm sorry. What exactly am I supposed to sound like? I guess all Chihuahuas are high-strung, riding around in expensive designer purses. Actually, I prefer riding in cars. So I appreciate that my family protects me with Progressive's pet collision coverage. Okay, maybe I am a little high-strung. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and is subject to policy terms.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at Hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED. But Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. That's Hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Oilers host the Panthers for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight. Puck drops at 5 p.m. Pacific. The Panthers are looking to repeat as champs with an even deeper team. They're favorites this time around. The Mariners are taking on the Orioles today at 6:40 p.m. Emerson Hancock gets the start in Tacoma. Logan Gilbert set to make his second rehab start.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Talking Mariners with Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman joining us right now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hi, Jordan.
Hey, guys. Good to see you.
Good to see you. I thought that we would start with a case that Bump was just making in our last segment before we brought you on. He was talking about, look, if you have to make a devil's advocate argument for Cal Raleigh as being an MVP, here's what you could say against Aaron Judge. And look, I know it's tough. What we're seeing from Aaron Judge is just unreal baseball. And I sure wish it was happening in any other season because what Cal's doing is special. But would you mind kind of not comparing the two, but kind of making the case if you had to make a tough case for Cal Raleigh as an MVP-worthy candidate?
Yeah, I mean, it's both impossible because Judge is way ahead of everybody else, and justifiably so. But it's also simple. It's that he's a catcher, and catchers are not supposed to be hitting like this basically ever. And when we've talked about Cal almost every week here this season about how he's able to impact the team in ways beyond hitting a bunch of home runs, that's just something that Aaron Judge is not doing, and that's fine. Aaron Judge is doing more than enough to still be so far ahead of everyone else offensively that he is, in all likelihood, if he stays healthy, going to win the award again, and he would deserve it. But yeah, I think it is true that I still don't think we will ever totally appreciate just how amazing it is for a catcher to be doing this offensively, and really quantify how much of an impact a catcher has on the other side of the ball as well.
Yeah, Jordan, I go on rants every Wednesday where I just complain like an old man, and obviously Judge will win this thing and does deserve it, but my argument was that he plays at a Mickey Mouse Disneyland park, so it's easier for him to go yard when he's at home. But respect to Judge, man. I'm just playing with this dude. The Mariners, they're at a place right now, Jordan, where every fan was just holding on to their pearls, hoping that we wouldn't see this type of play. And you know, us doing a radio show every day, we got to react. We're still telling people, look, there's still some time left. If you were a Mariners fan here in Seattle, what's your panic like right now? Or is there any panic at all from you?
Yeah, I mean, again, I feel like where they are at this season so far. I just wrote when I did my power rankings this week, and I had them, comfortably in the top half. But for each team, I kind of assessed how am I feeling about the team now relative to the start of the season, and from the spectrum of a lot better to a lot worse, and somewhere in between. And ultimately, I ended up putting Seattle right in the middle of about the same as the beginning. Now, it has been an unusual path to get to this point because it has been a little bit more balanced, as I wrote, for better or for worse. That the offense, until these last couple of days, has been way better than it's been in recent years, and the pitching has not been as good. And so you have a little bit more of a standard, like, you've got some good stuff going on offense, you've got some good stuff going on pitching, but it's not as obviously pitching forward the way it's been in years past. And I think that's part of why why fans are maybe getting more worried right now, is because you don't necessarily have the pitching to lean back on as the automatic superpower, right? And hopefully if Gilbert comes back and Miller can kind of find it and Kirby can kind of find it, that it could still turn into that. But that was something that even last year at the worst times, you still had maybe the best rotation in baseball, and you simply cannot say that with a straight face about them this year. And I think that makes them appear a little bit weaker, especially when their offense does go a little bit more quiet.
My question is going to be a standard Julio question, but just kind of hoping to put some of his season into context. And the reason I ask is Bump and I were, to begin the show, talking about what's going wrong for the Mariners. And we were like, well, your hot bats are cooling at the same time outside of Cal Raleigh. And then in terms of, well, what needs to change, what can happen, I don't always have faith that this club is going to make a really impactful addition. I know that more recently at the trade deadline they've done that, but they're not a big spender, and they don't love taking big risks, and they typically do look internally to improve. And for me, if I'm not looking outside to improve, and if I have to look internally, it feels like the top target has to be Julio. Like, the single biggest step forward you could take is within this person's potential. So I guess I wanted to ask you, like, what have you seen so far? Do you see that potentially blooming anywhere?
Yeah, I think it's fair. I mean, we know that he does have the highest ceiling on the team. I mean, I guess Cal has sort of questioned that notion with the season that he's had, but I still stand by it with how good we've seen Julio go over certain stretches early in his career. So I think that's a fair one to say. I mean, there's certainly a conversation to be had if we are going to focus on it internally. We've seen Cole Young get called up. I know Harry Ford, some really good stuff written about Harry Ford this week. I think he's a very interesting part of the conversation, not as obvious about how he fits on the roster, and I think that's an interesting conversation. But if there are other avenues to improve internally, I think he's someone to definitely consider. But yeah, I mean, when Julio's going, there's not a lot like it in the sport, and so you're kind of hoping that a hot streak like that is coming around the corner at some point. At the same time, I am cautiously optimistic that there is going to be a pretty major trade made at some point in the next month and a half. I don't know what it's going to look like. We're still kind of waiting for those sellers to emerge. I think they are going to want to be aggressive. I think they are going to be aggressive via trade. I think we saw it with Luis Castillo. Now, it's a little bit different. Could you say at that point, they viewed it as is this the same kind of team that is worth going all in on? In some ways, yes, because the division is weaker. And even though there are still some flaws with this team, this still appears to be as vulnerable of a division as they've really kind of come up against. And while I know Houston just passed them, I think picking Houston is still very reasonable because you pick Houston until you don't. There is a window here to win the division for the first time since 2001, and I think the organization and the front office is going to act accordingly.
What else kind of makes you think that they might do that? Because I know that some fans are not cautiously optimistic that they're going to make a move. Is it recent trends? Is it interviews that they've done? Just the reality of the situation they're in with the AL West? What all are the pieces that you're seeing?
It's all those things that you're saying, and then the fact that they have one of, if not the best farm systems in baseball. That combined with picking third in the draft upcoming in July, which is just an amazing outcome for a farm system that certainly didn't necessarily need a boost, but you get that lottery luck. You're going to add another top pick there, maybe a couple of top prospects, and not just the fact that they're picking high and are going to maybe have access to a top level talent that they normally don't when they're picking a little bit lower down. It's how many times they've hit on these guys. And so I think while it's hard, the one side of when you develop all these prospects is that you want to hold them close, right? You want to hug those prospects and keep them forever and see them flourish and become homegrown stars. But the other thing those hit rates kind of gives you is the confidence that you can do it again, is the feeling that we are going to draft another awesome class, some of whom are going to maybe pop really fast as late blooming college guys like Logan Evans or Ben Williamson and suddenly be in the big leagues, or high schoolers that can kind of surge in the lower minors and become top prospects in baseball. The Mariners have done that across the board at a lot of levels of the organization now. Now we're starting to see with Cole Young, maybe Harry Ford, how much they're going to help in the big leagues. But all that point is to say, as it relates to trade, they have a lot to trade. And I think that they're going to be confident that they can replenish that maybe as soon as this summer. And then whoever that next wave of guys are that we haven't even heard about that are at the lower levels of the minors.
Man, one of the things I love about baseball is that you get to see debuts more in baseball than any other sport, right? It's a beautiful thing to watch. They did this whole video with Cole, and it was awesome. But then reality hits. Then it's like, well, they're still young. They still have to go through their ups and downs. So in a short little snapshot of what you've seen from Cole, I know he hasn't done much. Did have a little walk-off there. What have you seen? What do you like? What don't you like?
Yeah, no, it's a great point, and there is nothing quite like that major league debut, and for Cole Young to end up having that be his first game is pretty remarkable. But it is, whatever. We're talking about a handful of games. I think it is clear that he was making very real adjustments in AAA. Did not start off great. Has kind of found really. I mean, this is about as hot as we've seen Cole Young at any point in his professional career, which is pretty exciting. But there's going to be an adjustment period, and that's the same thing when I bring up Harry Ford again. It's not as simple as copying and pasting his AAA stats and saying, oh great, why isn't that in the big leagues? You just know it's not that simple. And really that is one of the next great big tests of this Mariners front office and infrastructure and operation, which is just, okay, Cal Raleigh, undeniable massive developmental win, and a lot of the stuff that we've seen on the mound has been that. But who is going to be that next hitter, that next homegrown hitter to really settle in as an everyday player? I think that is one of the biggest questions this organization has faced. A lot of candidates, right? Cole Young's right there, Harry Ford's right there, and then a ton of guys beyond them. Whether we see them this year or not, or if they get traded, we'll see. Let's give Cole Young a few weeks. I hope he keeps getting those opportunities. I hope he keeps getting that playing time and to see what he can do.
When could the market start to move with trades? I know that sometimes it's really, really late, but Jordan, with you keeping your eye on MLB as a whole, do you see anything shaking up sooner than expected?
I mean, I think we're starting to get there. I think that the fact that, Jeff Passan just wrote his big trade deadline preview is not an accident. The fact that we started to see the Dodgers be a little bit active there, I know they made a minor deal with Seattle, also acquiring Alexis Diaz. I think teams, even though it's still too early to determine who's totally out of it, and ultimately the teams that are obviously sellers are not necessarily going to jump right now at any offer that they're being given, I think we're going to start to see some stuff. Now, generally, listen, these front offices are procrastinators like the rest of us. And I think, too, another reality of how front offices deal with it this time of year is now that the draft is later, a lot of them are focused on that. And that is not to say that they can't execute, trades before then. But front offices have been very open and have spoken about this since they made this change, that it is harder to do all these things at the same time. And that's why you kind of haven't seen the trade activity pick up until after the All-Star, after the draft. So we'll see. I do expect we'll have a couple more June trades, but the standings are still too kind of clumped together right now to really see too much major action, I would imagine.
Hey, we saw a little bit of George Kirby before he took a baseball off the dome at 107. What'd you see from Kirby?
Yeah, that's another one where I think we're still kind to see where his command has been at. He's throwing a good number of strikes, but clearly there's going to be an adjustment period with him here, and unfortunate freak injuries like we just saw the other day. Like, that's not helpful in him kind of trending and getting comfortable to get back out there. So I don't know. It's a little bit concerning. I think you got to kind of give him a little bit of a longer leash. We've only seen a few outings from him, but it just goes back to my larger point, right? I mean, this rotation was just so reliable, just 1 through 5 last season and really the last few years, that you just kind of have to start accepting that you're kind of living more in the world of the rest of the league, where there's really only a couple days where you feel awesome. And you got to give credit to Luis Castillo. He's really started to look better, and at a time when they've really needed him. We know Brian Wu's been marvelous, but it's so important. And that's also still a credit to Seattle to have that many other guys to turn to, because there are some other situations where if you have Logan Gilbert and George Kirby out, it's like total panic mode and you have nothing else to turn to. You're throwing AAA starters out there all the time. That's not the case for Seattle right now. So there's still an okay spot. Going to have to be patient with Kirby, I think.
Jorge Polanco started the season so hot, 10 home runs, but the last was May 12th, right? And then the vast majority of those in March and April, obviously. Is what we're seeing from Polanco, that's a regression to who he is, or do you think this is maybe an injury-related slump? What's your feeling?
That's a great question. I mean, it's hard to say, this is injury related when he was still injured when he was hitting homers every day. So I don't really know what to make of that, but his health and durability and physical capabilities is very relevant, because that's impacting whether he can hit right-handed. That's impacting how much they want comfortable, playing him in the field. I do think the fact that he's still hitting second is kind of absurd. I don't really... This is a long enough stretch of struggles that, okay, don't bench him, but you have other hitters that are hitting well, including an MVP candidate. We got to be getting him more at-bats. It's really not that complicated, even if you move Julio back up. JP's been pretty solid back in his leadoff role, so that's been frustrating to see Polanco amidst the struggles. I know when you have that hot of a stretch, you kind of earn that credibility, but that's a basic. I don't usually freak out about lineups too much, but that's a pretty basic one that I don't totally understand, is giving Polanco more at-bats than Cal Raleigh at this stage. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me.
All right, he is Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman. Tell us what to keep an eye out for, not just with Yahoo Sports, but also Baseball Barbecast.
Yeah, so we recorded today kind of previewing the All-Star ballots, which were released today. Now, it's still a little early to talk about All-Star, but, of course, if you want some more Cal Raleigh chat there, we go through all the positions and give our picks for the starters at this stage. Of course, still a month out, but I know people have strong feelings about All-Star starting. And then I just have to mention, because this weekend and tonight is softball, college softball. The Women's College World Series Championship Series is tonight. Super excited about that. I encourage everyone to check out Texas and Texas Tech. And then the Division I baseball Super Regionals is starting this weekend as well. Very, very fun time of year to get into watching these college.
Hold on, Jordan. Let me ask you one thing about the softball deal. How do you feel about the way Texas Tech is building their squad over there?
Oh, it's incredible. I love it. I think the fact that absolutely. Give Nyjah Kennedy $5 million. I don't care if she's going to carry you to the World Series. It's $1,000,000% worth it. You bring in an awesome coach like Jerry Glasgow. For them to turn it around this quick, it is not just a story of. And by the way, good. This is a sport I'd love to see more investment in. We don't need to keep throwing millions around in college football and college basketball. Let's get these athletes more attention, especially when they immediately deliver on the hype and expectation that kind of come with that kind of attention.
Crazy run.
Jordan, you're the best. Thank you.
Thanks, Jordan.
Talk soon, guys.
All right, let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Going 4 rounds today. First round, why are you shaking your head once again with the poor, innocent Dallas Cowboys?
They did nothing, right? That's their problem. They're not doing anything.
Oh.
You have one of the best defensive players in the game, and you still haven't paid him? Why are you waiting? You waited for Dak. You waited for CD. It's not like the price is going to go down the longer you wait. It might go up a little bit because now he's frustrated. He's probably going to get around $30-35 million a year. But if you look at the impact that he has on the game, he should be getting paid like a dang quarterback. In 2024, he had 12 sacks. In 23, 14. In 22, 13. In 21, 13. The Cowboys need to take a page from the Eagles book. Pay your guys. Don't wait. Pay them. If they're that important to you, they're the foundation of your team, go ahead and get it done. I'm like, why isn't Michael Parsons paid yet? He's going to be there with a bucket hat on and a towel, just sitting there being an extra coach. And I hope that he shows up and does a hold in and not a hold out, because I think that's beneficial for him and the team. But once again, I'm looking at the dang Cowboys, shaking my head. Why are you waiting so long to pay him? We've seen this before. It doesn't work out great, and you want to keep his mental right. Hurry up and pay this dude.
Second down. What's an absolute about the quarterback position here in Seattle?
Sam Darnold can throw 20 interceptions today at practice. He's going to be the starting quarterback here. He could go out preseason, probably not even see him. We can see Jalen Monroe. We can see Drew Lock light it up during preseason. There's no way week one they're running out that tunnel and Sam Darnold doesn't have a C patch on his shirt and he is not the starting quarterback. It just is what it is. I've been asked that question so many times. I thank Salk for bringing up the conversation, because now I've been to a few places and everyone wants to talk about it. And I think it's healthy to have those conversations. But let me shut it down right now, okay? Sam Darnold's going to be the starter week one. After that, we'll see what happens, right? Injuries, performance, whatever. But he's going to get the first crack at it. The first swing at the piñata is going to be Sam Darnold.
In Salk's defense, while Mike McDonald thought that was an asinine question, and clearly said, you guys are crazy, you and I and everyone else have seen that question a million times on the text line. And I know the text line isn't reflective of every single fan, but plenty of people have texted in theories about, I think it's going to be Jalen. I didn't like the Sam Darnold signing. I'm not that excited about it. We have seen that over and over and over and over.
That's why he asked the question.
2 months.
That's why he asked the question.
Third round. Heading outside of the NFL to the NHL here for the playoffs. What about the Oilers? Almost made you not root for them.
Man, I feel like I'm beating up on the Cowboys today, but every chance I get,
Oilers.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Okay.
The Edmonton Oilers. So I'm just doing, obviously, my research for the Stanley Cup. I'll be at Moonshine Barbecue watching that thing with my hockey heads over there. Holla at me. Come eat some barbecue. But they made a run in the 80s where they won like 3 or 4 out of the next 5 or something like that. And then they disappeared. And I'm doing my research, and I'm like, man, they're giving me cowboy type of vibes over there. How are you so dominant? And then for X amount of years, you do absolutely nothing. But then I come back to just how the game is played now and the guy they have over there, Connor McDavid, and there's no way I'm not rooting for these guys. And I think they're the underdogs against Florida. I haven't looked at what Vegas is saying, but Florida going for back-to-back. So, no, I almost didn't do it. All right, they won their first Stanley Cup in 1983-84. Then they won in 84-85, then 86-87, then 87-88, 88-90. Like, they were on a run. I did not realize that Edmonton was doing it like that. And so it gave me Cowboy vibes, but then I calmed myself down and do it for Connor McDavid, the best in the game.
I feel like it could be like a really weak Eagles-Chiefs comp where, like, Edmonton right now has the best player in the game, and Florida is just stacked. So much depth. And you're like, man, this could be just talent clearly winning out over someone who is the best and deserves it, and you're rooting for him, but just slightly more question marks on a still very, very good Edmonton team. Fourth round. To the NBA. What's the take on the Pacers winning the Eastern Conference that you do not agree with?
So as you know, Stacy, the conference has their conference championship trophy, and the Pacers, who'd they beat? I'm blanking on them right now. The Knicks. Take down the Knicks. And there are some people on ESPN who had issue with Reggie Miller offering or giving them the Eastern Conference trophy because he was on the game, he called the game, and he was a Pacers guy. And I completely disagree with that. I think that there are times where there could be some bias, but how many times have we heard Tony Romo call a Cowboys game or Troy Aikman call a Cowboys game? As long as their analysis is real, as long as they're calling them out for their weaknesses and praising their strengths, I have no problem with it. the analyst who was talking about it said that it just felt like it was too much of a home court advantage. Well, you're at home. You deserve that, right? It is an advantage. And Reggie Miller is arguably the best pacer to ever play in the NBA. So why not let him celebrate that with the guys on the basketball court? I thought it was a crazy take. It's not like he had influence in the game. He's not a referee. He wasn't making calls out there. He's not a coach. He's an analyst. And I think Reggie Miller is professional enough to separate it. He did get caught saying us and we every now and then.
Yeah.
All right,
sure.
So be it. But he called them out for their stuff too. So I had no issue with it.
You know what we should do? We should have like not bad take Olympics, but like a bad take award show where we look at some bad takes from like that month, because look, we're all gonna make them.
We all make them.
Sports radio. Sometimes I'll see people say like, "Oh, what a stupid conversation," and you're like, "Sports radio is what would you talk about?" You've said it like bar top talk. What would you talk about at the bar top with your friends? What would you argue about with your best friend during a game? What would the group chat be going off about, right? Sometimes it is just dumb stuff or jokes or whatever. So bad takes are going to come along with that. But Panthers income tax leading to dominance would be my nominee out of the East.
Yes.
out of the Eastern Conference, my nominee would certainly be that the Florida income tax situation or state tax situation has led to the Panthers' dominance. That would be my bad take nominee for a smart analyst, a very smart analyst.
Yeah, mine would be the Pacers one I just had right now. Like, what do you mean? It's perfect. He's there calling the game. Let Reggie hand over the trophy, especially after just beating the Knicks too.
Come on.
Like, come on, man. It's poetic.
It's fine. All right. Coming up at 11:45, Golden Tate has a fascinating story about the Seahawks Super Bowl run. We're going to talk about what we've learned so far from Seahawks OTAs with Seattle Times reporter Bob Condotta, who's joining us in here at the Seahawks studio at noon. So we're going pretty Seahawks heavy a bit later in the show. And why not start next with Marcus Trufant? He joins us next. Don't go anywhere.
Seahawks OTAs continue, and Seattle sports is there.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
This thing on?
It's on.
All day today with Bump and Stacy live at the VMAC at 9 a.m.
OTAs kicking off today.
Followed by Wyman and Bob right up to Mariners pregame at 5:30.
We'll talk about what stood out.
We are your eyes and ears on the sidelines at Seahawks OTAs. The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Heward here with Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy, inviting you to come work with IRG. And Shannon, what kind of staff are you looking for at IRG?
Brock, we're looking for all kinds of clinical staff, physical therapists, occupational therapists, athletic trainers, certified occupational therapy technicians, physical therapy assistants, you name it on the clinical side. We are looking for those folks. But we are really looking for folks that want to come to an organization that want to be part of our culture and change the culture and work with us to provide the best care and service we can to our patients, our team, and our community. So those clinical people out there, we're looking for you. We also provide advanced certification. We want to provide you mentorship. We want you to grow personally and professionally here at IRG.
And with over 40 clinics throughout the Pacific Northwest, you've got the opportunity to work in the city you want. Just head over to irgpt.com/careers. That's irgpt.com/careers.
Need a new roof, but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
The Mariners are transforming T-Mobile Park into Seattle's hottest karaoke club for Sing-Along Fireworks Night. Don't miss an incredible post-game show on Friday, June 13th, presented by T-Mobile, after the team squares off against the Guardians at 7:10.
He does it again. Home runs in 3 consecutive games. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper.
It's your chance to belt your heart out on the big stage to chart-topping hits and feel-good throwbacks. Fireworks and Mariners baseball. That's 2 spectacular shows in one unforgettable night.
Strong play call. Triple digits to end it and complete the sweep.
Visit mariners.com/fireworks to get your tickets and see the complete lineup of Mariners fireworks nights this summer, including a Patriotic Palooza on July 3rd and an 80s show on July 18th. Plus, check out everything else on deck at T-Mobile Park, including a Father's Day socks giveaway Sunday, June 15th, thanks to Muckleshoot Casino Resorts. Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Chargers sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Call or click 811 before you dig. Anything that causes you to roll up your sleeves a little and dig in requires you to first connect with 811. Call or click 811 and visit safeexcavator.com.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all 3 like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2. Brock and Salk. Coach McDonald.
Joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline is former Seahawks cornerback Marcus Trufant. Marcus, we're happy to have you. And first of all, congratulations on making the Seahawks top 50 list, one of the few defensive backs to make this list. Congratulations.
Much appreciated, much appreciated. Very happy to be here.
True. What was it like? How'd you find out? Did they send you an email? Did they call you, or you wait like everybody else? When did you figure out that you made the top 50?
You know what, man? I got a call a couple days ago, man, from Chuck. Got a call from Chuck Arnold, man. He reached out and he broke it down for me, and I was very excited, man. So yeah, that's I felt pretty big time, man, to get a call from the big man, and yeah, I thought it was great, man. It made me feel real good, man. It was solid.
This is a list of some of the best Seahawks period we've ever seen, and it's so cool that so many of them were defensive players. I mean, this team has just had so much star power on that side of the ball, and you look in this group and there's so many special guys, yourself included. What would you say it takes? Like, I don't want to say that there's a common thread between every player in this group, but what kind of mentality, what kind of mindset did you have that set you apart, that helps guys like this get to be the best?
Well, I think it's one of those things, right? Different guys kind of got a different style of play. You got some guys that talk a lot of trash. You got some guys that got different rituals, that do a bunch of crazy stuff, but it's really about the passion that you bring to the game, right? You know, I was a quiet guy on the field, but I was loud with my play, right? I played with a lot of energy. I played with a lot of anger sometimes, right? And you're able to let that stuff out, stuff you can't do in your normal walk of life, right? And you know, I'm dad, and at the time I had all daughters. I kind of got to be soft. I got the pink. I got the glitter. I got all this stuff. And then I get to go out on the field, and I can let all that out. So I think it's your approach to the game and what you're playing for, right? It definitely, for me, it's, you know, I love the game, and it was never just about the money. Of course, the money is great, but I think it has to be a lot more than just the basic stuff. You got to be playing for something.
Well, true, man. You had a great career, 10 years in the game, 20-plus interceptions. What was your best or your favorite moment during your career?
Oh, man. I'm going to take you back, man. I'm going to take you way back to that first I'm going to take you back to that first Super Bowl.
Okay.
That was and I'm getting a call. You guys let me know if you can hear that beat.
No,
but
you're good.
Yeah, I'm going to take it back to that first Super Bowl, and that's when we beat the Carolina Panthers at home. And that was the game we won to get us to the Super Bowl, man. To do that in front of the 12, to do that in front of the hometown team. And, you know, for me, to do that in front, of course, all my friends and family, all my teachers, everybody I grew up with, that was a really big game, man. And for me, like, it was never just about those stats and those individual stats. And you talked about my picks, Bump. As you know, I dropped a ton of picks. I probably should have like 30 total picks, bro. But yeah, just to do it in front of the hometown fans, it was a great feeling. And for that to be the first Super Bowl, that was really special to me.
Do you remember your favorite interception? One that you did hang on to.
Oh, man. One that I did hang on to intercept Brett Favre. I thought that was pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
You grow up watching guys play, and you hear the name and, of course, everything that goes with it. And I felt like that was really cool, man. As you know, my son is still watching highlights of me, of course, on YouTube and stuff like that. So, you know, as a guy that's starting to get some gray hair and stuff like that, that's pretty cool.
I thought you were going to say that pick six in 2007 you had took that thing to the house. So that was my favorite true moment. But how has football changed, man? Because, you know, it's not like we're old dudes, but the game, it changes fairly quickly, man. How has your position changed, or would you say that it's still similar?
I think it's still similar, but the body type of a defensive back, I think, has changed a little bit, right? And I talk about it all the time. During my playing years, I was a good-sized corner, right? But now the corners are more shaped or more kind of like the wide receivers, right? You kind of got to be like a small forward. You got to be over 6 foot. You got to have the wingspan and different stuff like that. So I think that part has changed. And, of course, you can't come across the middle. You can't knock guys out like that anymore. But, of course, that's all for the good. But I think it's really about the body type and style from the defensive back perspective that's changed a lot.
What do you want to see from this Seahawks defense? Just overall, where would you love to see them take a step forward? Or, True, what would you love to be able to see them do?
Disruption and making the offense uncomfortable. And I always say that the best coverage that you can have, of course, is a sack, right? So I think it all starts up front. You talk about the secondary. There is no secondary. You know what I'm saying? At the defensive line, if the defensive line's not working up front, making that quarterback's life hell. So I think that's where it has to start. It always starts with the big guys up front, and it's the same for the offense as well.
Yep, sure is. So on that list, we got some names, man, and then there's a young name that snuck in, and me and Stacy were kind of surprised, right? Not hating on the young man at all, but Spoon got on the list. So what do you think about his game? Why do you think he was able to make it?
I think that's a great pick, man. Spoon is playing like a guy that's already been playing for 5-10 years, right? This dude is on the field. This dude is everywhere. This guy is comfortable. This guy knows exactly what he's doing, and he knows who he is, and he's not afraid to hit. Definitely not afraid of the big moment, but I like the pick, man. Spoon is great. I love his game, and I think he's only going to get better. And eventually, I don't want to jinx him, but I think he's going to be wearing a gold jacket one day, bro.
Okay.
That's high praise. See, I'll call myself out that I was like, man, I feel like this is way too early. He's still in a rookie deal, but I'll take the words of someone who knows infinitely more about football than I do over my own. So I'll go ahead and lean into that one. Hey, True, when do you played as one of the best defenses of all time, not just here in Seattle, all time. When did it click that that's who you guys were? Like, when do you know that you're elite?
I think when you're elite, when you're really having fun out there, right? It doesn't feel so much like a chore or you got to stress or like things really just aren't clicking like that. It's working when you're high-fiving out there and you're smiling and you're laughing with your guys and you're out there and just like it takes you back to when you were a kid, right? And that's what it started to feel like eventually. The D-line is working and the picks are coming and all this stuff and everybody on all the levels, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the D-line, I'm talking about the linebackers and the secondary. It all starts to really come together and it's easy. It starts to get easy and like I said, it's fun at that point.
All right, True, before we get you out of here, man, you are a busy man, an entrepreneur, philanthropist, all that good stuff. What you got coming up?
I got a golf tournament actually coming up August 18th at the Newcastle Golf Course. And, of course, that's for my foundation. And we raise money for scholarships. And we are very focused on education and getting with those kids that don't have the opportunity to pursue higher education. And we want to break down those barriers. So that is the latest and the greatest. And, of course, I'll be posting. I'll be doing all that kind of stuff on my Instagram, and that's Marcus_Trufant. So please check me out and support.
Oh, that's awesome to hear, True. Really cool stuff. Former Seahawks great Marcus Trufant, kind enough to join us, talking about an honor he received, of course, and what we've got our eyes on with this Seahawks defense now. Thanks, True.
Thanks, True.
Appreciate it, y'all.
All right, Golden Tate told the story of his pre-Super Bowl fight with Percy Harvin. That's coming up next.
Brock and Salk.
Coach McDonald, is there anything that could happen other than an injury between now and the beginning of the season that would lead to a different quarterback?
This is a crazy question. There's just not going to, like, Sam's our starting quarterback. I think it's funny that the media is out there for like the first day and all of a sudden they know exactly how good we're going to be and how good all the players are. And it's like, we don't even put on pads yet. Yeah, that was kind of a crazy question.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife. Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,000 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafy, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. At Pella Windows and Doors, we pride ourselves on delivering top-quality windows and doors that enhance the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Our products are built to last with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. Whether you're looking to upgrade your windows or install new doors, Pella has you covered.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
If you've been in a wreck or a fender bender,
you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility, not just where your insurance company tells you to go. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. With over 25 years of auto repair work, they'll exceed your expectations.
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
At Accurate Auto Body, all their work is performed by certified technicians, only using OEM parts to guarantee the safety of you and your family. For the best in auto body collision repair and customer service, give them a call at 425-883-2450 or AccurateAutoBodyWA.com. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
Hey, Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new replacement right now. That's huge. $1,000 off. Quite the incentive for homeowners to book their roof replacement right now. It's Mike Salk here, and it really is a great time to do it. These days are getting long, right? Sunsets after 8 o'clock. Crews can get your roof done quick. So take advantage now before demand spikes this summer, making those repairs costly and time-consuming as well. Here's what you got to do to claim your $1,000 off from Riverside Roofing. Book a free estimate from the website, riversideroofingllc.com. And then you'll meet with Brandon, that's Don's son. Just tell him you heard the message here on the radio station. $1,000 back in your pocket, and yes, a brand new roof over your head. And while you're there, ask Brandon about their 35 years of local experience, GAF Master Elite certification, which puts them in the top 3% of roofers in the nation, and of course the catch-all system, which they use to keep your yard and driveway totally free of debris like nails or shingles. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. Remember, Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust.
Do you know a woman that gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Maura Dooley here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 4th Annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at woiseattle.org.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with no credit financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary, and financing is available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder. An equal housing opportunity builder.
Hey, are aches, injuries, or everyday pain slowing you down? Well, it is time to move better, feel stronger, and get back to doing what you love. IRG Physical and Hand Therapy is now accepting new patients, and no referral is needed. Their expert team offers personalized hands-on care to help you recover faster and stay pain-free longer. Shannon, what is it like to see new patients walk through your doors?
Brock, it's wonderful. You know why? It's because it's an opportunity for us at IRG to make a difference in someone's lives. It's so important that when people come in, they experience engagement, coaching, teaching. We build relationships with our patients, and we want to make it easy. We all know that healthcare has a lot of what I call minutia in it. We have a concierge call center. When you call, we're going to check your authorization, verification, certification, justification. We're going to find out everything we need to know about your insurance, and we're going to make it easy for you because we want you focusing on getting better.
And all you got to do is head over to irgpt.com to find the clinic nearest you. irgpt.com.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
On Bump and Stacy, reading you the top stories you're going to see and hear about on your own timeline. One is certainly making the rounds nationally this morning. It's the Bussin' with the Boys podcast. Golden Tate telling the story of his pre-Super Bowl fight with Percy Harvin. Now, first of all, before I throw to cut 10, I thought it was already common knowledge that these two got into a fight before the Super Bowl. But maybe I'm thinking
most
of
people
something
do.
else, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, Golden gets into the details here, cut 10.
Percy's a different guy. He's a different guy, and something goes off in his mind, and once he makes his decision, ain't no going back. And so we get to the Super Bowl, and, you know, you get all the media, and they're asking these questions, and they ask all of us, the receivers, and they ask me and say, hey, so what does it mean to have Percy Harvin back? It's like, you know what? I love Percy's game. I think he's awesome. But the truth of the matter, we haven't had Percy the entire year, and we've made it this far. We can't wait to get him out there because he's definitely going to make us even better. But look, we've done it without him. We're fine. At some point, he read the article, someone read the article and told him the bullet points, and he took huge offense to it. And at the time, I didn't know this. So we show up on a Saturday before the game on Sunday, and I'm just saying, what's up, Percy? What's up, Sid? All my homies. And Percy just kind of got this look on his. He's just got this look like I'm just not having a good day. I'm like, bro, you good? He said, I'm cool. Just give me some time. So finally, I go back up to Percy. He's sitting just like this in front of his locker. And I get like low to the ground like this, like, hey, Percy, bruh, like, what's going on? Like, let's just chop it up, talk to it. He's like, bruh, if you come at my face. And I just said, all right. And I just turn around and start walking the other way. Next thing you know, boom, he tackles me from behind. He tackles me and his head is like right here. I landed on my shoulder, jacked up my neck, and I just got him here and I just started trying to punch him. I don't know if I punched him or connected or anything at all, but I was kind of holding him. They pull us apart. Pete Carroll, Josh Snyder, the GM, talked to me like, what happened? And so I tell them like what happened, and you know, they deemed that I'm not the issue. They separate us and we go our separate ways that day. We showed the next morning for the Super Bowl, and Percy acts like nothing had ever even happened.
That's insanity. To show up acting like not only to show up acting like nothing happened, which I feel like I was going insane, but cut 11, then to do this.
Short kick. Percy Harvin with the catch. He's on the run. He breaks free. He's across the 40. The speed. There he goes. Midfield. Look out. He's going to go. Take the second half kickoff all the way back. Baby! 88 yards for a touchdown. We knew Percy was going to do it tonight. Touchdown, Seahawks! No flags, are you kidding me? Percy Harvin, the Seahawks fans, the 12s are going nuts, and the Seahawks stretch their lead to 28-0. I don't believe it.
The Seahawks were so good that not even an actual fist fight in a locker room could stop them from dominating the Broncos.
I need to find film of Golden Tate after that. Is he celebrating, or is he like, this dude's tripping? You know, you have to be caught up in that moment and celebrating, right? Even though things went down.
Yeah.
Listen, man,
Right,
there
do you
are.
go up and yeah.
Yeah, right. Do you dap them up, or what do you do after that?
Yeah.
I'm sure they're probably fine now.
Respectfully.
But there are a few highlight tapes that I'll watch over and over again. Tavon Austin when he was at West Virginia, obviously Reggie Bush when he was at USC, and Percy Harvin at Florida. That highlight tape is ridiculous. And then to have him show up in that big moment, man, there's some people who just have that start and stop, that body control, that speed. Like, you just shake your head and you say, I just can't duplicate that. And Percy Harvin was one of those guys. Even his NFL highlight tape is ridiculous, man. So for him to show up in a big moment like that and kind of just block out all the drama, that's part of why that team was great, man. All those personalities out there, you know, there have been some scuffs during practice, but when it's time to play ball, they can lock in and get it done.
There are probably lots of fights we don't hear about. This is one that we did, though, granted, years later. Other infamous fights that we've heard about after the fact. I mean, how about Geno Smith getting clocked, right, in the Jets locker room? Jake Heaps was in that locker room as part of that quarterback room. They're in the locker room for that fight. Have you ever been witness to or part of a locker room fight?
Not a locker room fight. I've seen some close calls in the locker room. You know, when something happens on the practice field and then it kind of filters in to the locker room. And it's usually, at least in my experience, with the bigs, because even during like 75% tempo, half speed, they still got to lock up. And when you lock up with another man and another dude is giving more effort than you, and you're kind of like, what you doing? Like, we're supposed to be on the same page. That's when things start to happen. So now I've seen some close ones in the locker room. All the ones that I've been a part of are seen really are on the football field.
Can fights actually be good?
Yeah, I think they are good.
Right.
I think that you're always flirting with borderline, this thing might blow up at any moment during a football practice. In the NFL, it's less common because of that parameters with football practice. Like, you can't wear pads and the tempo and all that stuff. But, people say, like, training camp hadn't started until you saw a fight. And every year we see something with the Seahawks, at least the 8 years I've been covering them. And then when I was in college, it happens all the time. No, when you're asking young bulls to go out there and just be aggressive and play with insanity, it's going to happen.
I know that we're going to see fights in training camp because you're right, that just happens. And I always push back a little bit whenever anyone's like, wow, where's the class? What's the problem? And it's like, this is happening at every training camp all over the place. It's a running joke of like, first fight, Bengals, day one, first fight of the league. Like, it's just what happens. When does it cross the line?
When someone really gets hurt.
Okay.
Like, if DK would have connected with that helmet last year, was that last year?
I think the year before, it was when, why am I tying it to Austin? What's-his-face is the center. It was either the year he got there or the year he left.
Yeah,
so a
so
couple years ago.
if DK would have connected with that helmet, no, that's all bad. But that's when it goes too far. Because for the most part, in football fights, everyone's geared up.
Yeah.
You're not really going to get hurt. So that's the only time it crosses the line.
I wonder, too, if, like, it's the same guy over and over. Like, when you have just straight up an instigator, and I don't mean, like, the same two, right? Maybe a cornerback and a wide receiver just always getting paired up. They're always fighting opposite each other, and they're both hot-tempered, and they get into it a couple times. Like, we've seen that.
Yeah.
But if there's one guy that's just a problem, and he's starting fights with a lot of people, and he's instigating, and he's an issue, then I wonder if coaches kind of, hey.
It's probably a DB. You know them DBs, man. They be talking.
Oh, really? From
They
a
be
wide
talking.
receiver? You know how those
DBs be
are.
talking.
Let's get Marcus Trufant back on the phone.
True. He's a different breed, though. True wouldn't talk like that. True was quiet. But his group, he knows. They be talking.
Wide receivers talk, though. Have you ever made someone want to swing on you?
Nah, that wasn't my game.
Okay.
Nah, I was more of a nonchalant type of trash talker. I'd smile at you or pat you on the butt after I do something, but I wasn't a get in your face type of dude. Now, I've been in some stuff, but that's because the DB started it.
Who was the biggest instigator you ever played with?
I ever played with?
Yeah.
Josh Wilson and Trufant's group in the DB group.
So, like, he would start it?
He would just always run in his mouth, always, never stopped, good or bad. You always knew where he was.
All right. We are at Seahawks headquarters, Virginia Mason Athletic Center, for OTAs, which are underway in just a little bit. We're going to talk about what we've learned so far and what we're watching for today with Seattle Times reporter Bob Condotta coming up next.
Seahawks OTAs continue, and Seattle Sports is there.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
This thing on?
It's on.
All day today with Bump and Stacy live at the VMAC at 9 a.m.
So OTAs kicking off today.
Followed by Wyman and Bob right up to Mariners pregame at 5:30.
We'll talk about what stood out.
We are your eyes and ears on the sidelines at Seahawks OTAs. The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain and and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. One of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had, obviously husbands. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us. And I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
The perfect Father's Day gift. Time. This year, take Dad to LeMay, America's Car Museum, to explore 100 years of rare and luxurious vehicles and get your adrenaline rush in the racing simulators. Fun for all. Visit americascarmuseum.org today.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service will help your company with logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linen, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do. Visit suplinen.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams primer and ceiling paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13, delivery by 8 p.m., subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners looking to bounce back with a win tonight. They're taking on the Orioles for Game 2 of this series. Emerson Hancock gets the start. First pitch at 6:40. Pre-game show starts at 5:30 right here on Seattle Sports.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bump and Stacy.
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Seahawks kicking off another day of OTAs. We have one in the books already for Monday. Here to tell us what we've learned and what we're still watching for. It's Seattle time. Seahawks reporter Bob Condotta, live and in person. Hi, Bob.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Good. Happy to have you here. I'll start with just kind of like a basic overview. I'm talking like any notable absences, notable injuries, any contract things. Like, what's our baseline here?
No real contract things. I mean, there's nobody not here because of a contract situation. The only guys who weren't here were sort of just some veteran guys that are probably, kind of getting veteran time off. I mean, Jonathan Hankins and DeMarcus Lawrence, and that's been common the last few years for defensive line, kind of the older defensive linemen in particular. There's only so much those guys need to learn playbook wise. It's, DeMarcus Lawrence, it's going to be go get the quarterback kind of thing. So you don't need to be out here the whole time. So I would imagine that's sort of the deal with those guys. But everybody else was out here in some capacity. To be honest, this is all going to sound kind of boring, but I don't think there was any injury situations that appeared out of the blue. I mean, the guys who weren't out there for injury stuff are guys we know about, like Ernest Jones and Uchenna, and like Tyreek Smith wasn't out there. He's maybe kind of an off-the-radar guy, but I saw something maybe going on with him. But, in general, people seem to be doing what you would think they would be doing other than those guys. Lineup, to me, I mean, most fascinating thing is kind of the offensive line and who's where on that. And so that's kind of what I was kind of trying to pay a lot of attention to the other day, just who's where at the guard spots and stuff like that. But that's going to take a while to sort out. I mean, they're not making those decisions now. So, they're trying to get guys reps at different spots and kind of seeing how it looks together and all that. So, I did watching Nick Amon-Mori, obviously, how they appeared to be using him seemed to be what they said they were going to do. I mean, safety and kind of in nickel and dime sets and stuff like that, trying to get him out there. And I think that's what I think for year one for him, that's probably the logical thing, is getting him out on the field a lot and kind of in specialty packages, because you do have Kobe and Julian Love as sort of your pretty much set safety duo. But Kobe Bryant's going into the last year of his contract, so you could have a natural thing there if you don't want to re-sign Kobe to a big deal after this year, or he just gets more somewhere else. You've got Nick Amon-Mori to move in there, so I think that's kind of the long range plan there.
The hardest positions to evaluate, the guys in the trenches. You mentioned you're trying to see where the combinations are, and naturally everyone wants to go to Grace Abel, but I'm going to Abe Lucas because he was banged up last year. How does he look physically?
He looks a lot. He looks like he slimmed down a little bit. I thought he looked really good physically. We were talking about that he looks a little more, in shape, which doesn't mean he was out of shape necessarily. But I mean, last year he was rehabbing, so This year is the year I think he can kind of was able to spend the offseason. He got healthy, and now this offseason he's sort of back in his optimum shape. They had him splitting some reps a little bit with Josh Jones, but again, that makes sense because that's Josh Jones's role is going to be, I think, to be the sort of the back, the game day backup. You're going to probably have 8 offensive linemen active on game day. He's probably going to be your third tackle and playing everywhere. And so I think they're probably getting him more up to speed on the right tackle spot than left tackle. But looked like he was playing some of both. But in general, when they had the number 1 offensive line out there, Abe was the guy at right tackle.
There are a couple position groups where someone's just going to be the odd man out. And that's the case every single year, but sometimes the odd man out might be a fan favorite. We get so many questions about Kenny McIntosh all the time. And I'm wondering if Damian Martinez is going to come in and threaten time. Maybe they carry more running backs than I'm expecting. How are you seeing that group not shaking out? This is too early for roster projection, but what's really at play here? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to battle for the third running back spot, unless something happens with Ken Walker. I mean, I guess, I know some people have thrown out trade there, rumors. Could he be a trade candidate if it gets down to that, since he is entering the last year of his contract? And I would think right now it's that. I mean, the reality is most of the time 7th-round running backs aren't the guys who, if you waive them, are going to get claimed on waivers by someone else, and you can sneak them through to the practice squad. And so, that would probably be the play there. But, looking the other day, it looked like the pecking order was exactly as you'd expect. We didn't see a whole lot of Walker in the team stuff, but I would assume he's still the number 1 guy. But you saw Charbonnet and McIntosh were getting the reps with the ones, with Walker not out there during the team stuff, and then Damian Martinez was and George Holani were with the 2s. So, right now I think that's kind of it. But yeah, it is going to be interesting, the running back spot, because I think they're going to want to keep somebody as a fullback. And so does that come, so that they just go with, say, 5 running backs / fullbacks, and maybe one fewer tight end or one fewer receiver or something like that. They are going to have some questions like that once we get down to late August.
Speaking of fullbacks, you've been covering this team for a while. Was it refreshing to see them line up in that personnel, and what did you see out of that group?
Yeah, for sure. We haven't seen a lot of that the last few years, kind of seeing them just line up in I formation and a fullback leading a running back through a hole. Again, with no pads and everything, it's hard to get a read on what they're doing physically. You just kind of watch
Offense looks
watch
great
the
right
plays.
now.
Yeah. I mean, the running backs when they can't be touched, they all look phenomenal because they're all going 50 yards every time. It is just more seeing it and seeing. That's going to be an interesting thing to watch. The Brady Russell, Robbie Oots battle for the fullback spot again, because both those guys have significant tight end background in their history. You could also keep those guys as sort of hybrids. They could be the 4th tight end, and whoever gets that job is going to play a ton of special teams. Robbie Oots did a lot of that at Alabama, so they both have basically the same profile. Probably only one of them is going to make the 53, but then does one of them just sneak through to the practice squad kind of thing. I think that's the plan. And so again, John Schneider talks about this. He reminds us a lot oftentimes that you sort of have to think about it a little bit. It's like a 70-man roster. And that's what they're really prepping out here is, you're looking for the starters and the 2 deep in the 53, but then you're also looking at what's our practice squad going to be, because again, with the way the rules are now, all those guys could play up to 3 games, can play into 3 games before just going up and down the practice squad without having to be waived or anything. So, you are looking at those guys as kind of part of your overall roster as well.
There were reports, unfortunately, Bump and I were able to watch practice on Monday, but I heard things. And unsurprisingly, I heard things about Sam Darnold. I wanted to ask, what actually happened? Obviously, I was hearing, he didn't look his best, but what did you see?
Well, I mean, again, so almost everything they ran was a red zone play. So, from the 4-yard line or the 9-yard line was largely what it is. That's not the easiest place in the world to throw passes. I mean, you're not, that's not where receivers are breaking wide open. That's tiny windows and tiny spots.
No, come. It's true.
It's tough down there.
Yeah, and so that's what they were doing. So, they were doing 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 down there, an awful lot. And so, he did throw 2 interceptions in the span of 3 plays. He also threw 2 touchdowns in the span of those 4 plays. So there was a little bit of hit and miss there. One of the throws was probably not the greatest throw ever, but one was just a great read by. One was kind of an out route, and Josh Jobs sort of got in front of the. It was kind of an out route right at the pylon, and he made a great play to get there. The other was to Julian Love, where maybe Darnold forced it a little bit. In general, I think they want quarterbacks to throw the ball in these settings because it's just boring if he just goes, I'm just going to stand back here and do nothing with it. They do want action out there, right? They kind of want that. So there's probably a little bit of maybe he would have tucked and ran it, and it seemed to me like he did more of that after those plays. There were 2 or 3 times after that. Yeah, he was kind of tucking and running it like nobody's open here, so I'll do that instead of trying to force something here. But I don't read it. I don't make a big deal. To me, it's not a huge deal out of that. And again, it's a red zone passing drill. So in general the DBs know, maybe the ball's coming my way, so I think maybe they're being a tiny bit more aggressive. But it was a fun session to watch for sure. And as Mike McDonald said on your guys' station yesterday, it's a real learning opportunity for these guys to kind of to figure that out. But definitely, interceptions kind of are part of Sam Darnold's history. So it is going to be interesting to watch that as it goes. But in terms of his hold on the starting job or something like that, I don't read anything into 2 interceptions and a OTA.
And also for the public, there's a script at practice. And every now and then, the defensive coordinator will go up to the guy and be like, hey, look out for this in this situation. Look out for that. So there's some heads up there, too. Mike McDonald, when I listen to him talk, he's already been a confident, assertive person. He sounds even more confident and assertive this year. Can you see and feel that out there on the field?
Yeah, I can't say I saw it on the field, but I agree with you in general with that. Just the sessions that we've had with him, like at the combine and the league meetings and stuff like that. Like, you know, he knows what he's doing now. I mean, nothing's new to him anymore. Right. So, and I do think he feels more ownership of the team sort of as well. You know, this time a year ago, he hadn't coached these guys yet. So in terms of like, you know, what am I going to say publicly about these guys or things like that? I think there was a little bit more of, maybe I need to earn my place just a little bit before I do some of these things. And I do definitely think there's more of that now. And I think that's also so true with the staff they have. You know, obviously they made significant offensive coaching staff moves, and I think now, you know, he had the ability to be, I think, a little bit more involved with that. He kind of pushed back on that narrative when he was asked about that, you know, saying he was right there with the hiring of Ryan Grubb as well. But I do just think, having had a year of coaching, I think he knew more this time what he wanted in the coaches that he had, and how that's, you know, what's my working relationship going to be with these guys, and I want to make sure it's somebody that I have a great working relationship with, and we're all going to mesh. And so I think from that standpoint, this is far more sort of his team this time around than it was last year. You know, and still last year there's still the shadow of Pete Carroll kind of hovering over the team, and a lot of guys who'd been coached by Pete. You know, I was going to add this up at some point, but you know, they've got like 35 kind of first year or rookie and undrafted, maybe not quite 35, but they've got, you know, about a third of the roster as guys who literally weren't here last year, and then you've got another maybe third of the roster of guys who are just kind of new since then. You know, you have fewer and fewer guys who are kind of coached by Pete, and that shadow of Pete kind of isn't really, I don't think, really hanging over the team as much anymore at all either for him to kind of battle with.
Interesting changes to the wide receiver room. You talk about turnover for this team and new faces, obviously new faces for pass catchers. I've wondered, Bob, if that just makes tight ends more interesting, maybe pass catching running backs more interesting. They don't have DK, they don't have Tyler. I think that's a loss. Everyone knows that. I'm not expecting 1,000 yards from Cooper Kupp. But maybe that makes Elijah Arroyo more interesting, right? What did you see from the tight ends, and maybe Arroyo in particular?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by 1,000 yards from Cooper Kupp. I mean, I thought he looked really good out here the other day. I mean, he was one of the guys I was like, you know, is he going to be taking veteran time off or whatever? And he was out there.
We're talking to him later, and I'm going to tell him I'm expecting 1,000 yards.
Yeah, well, he was all over the place making plays. I mean, you know, he looked like the Cooper Kupp you're used to seeing. So I thought that was a kind of an underrated positive sign for any of the worries about his health or whatever. You know, he looked exactly like I would have thought Cooper Kupp would
look. And I've always said that
in a Seahawks practice. You know, Arroyo, I mean, he looked to me to be the third tight end. I mean, it was Fant and it was Barner kind of going with the ones, and Arroyo was sort of working with the groups behind that. So he did catch at least one touchdown pass. Again, everybody was catching touchdown passes because that's, since they were throwing all the passes from about like the 10-yard line, anything that was completed was basically a touchdown.
Yeah, I caught one
too. I can't say he did something that made me go wow. But again, when they're throwing just a bunch of short passes in the red zone, you know, you're not necessarily seeing a ton of like wow, super long plays. So, you know, maybe we'll see more of that as they go forward these next couple days. But you know, I think the long-term picture is for sure he's going to be on the roster, and they're hoping he can have a significant part in the offense and especially in the passing offense for sure. But it's the old cliche, there's only so many balls to go around. But you're right, with kind of the different, I mean, it feels like in a way this can be a little bit more of a democratic offense that way. Like you're not necessarily going to be like, we've got to force the ball to DK Metcalf 12 times a game or something like that, and everybody's going to be wondering what's going on. You're going to feel compelled to do that. I think this will be a little bit more of an offense of, we're just going to go to whoever, you know, it can be built around just who, you know, getting the ball to whoever's open kind of thing, instead of being like, we've got to make sure, you know, we're always getting the ball to this guy a lot.
Well, obviously we got Sam Darnold. I expect Drew Lock to be the number 2, and then Milroe the number 3. Always want to show Drew some love because people just skip over him and get straight to Milroe. And I go, Drew's been a pro in this league for a while. What did he look like, and how do the backups? I know it's only been a day, and no one can touch them. They're the pretty boys out there. How would you assess?
Yeah, Drew looked really good. I mean, he had a couple of the real highlight plays with some of his throws, and Drew Lock I always thought he looked pretty good in these practices. He obviously, he didn't win the job. You know, I mean, his first training camp was kind of weird because he got sick and stuff like that, and so that was kind of what really derailed him that first year when he was here. Then he was kind of just the backup from that point on. But I thought he looked. I thought it was about the best practice I'd seen from him during all the times that I'd watched him previously before. But you know, I don't know if that's a surprise. You know, he's while the Giants year was tough, he did have that one really good game at the end of the year, which ended up costing the Giants for his sort of revenge against the Giants for how they dealt with him, and apparently trying to keep him from earning his entire contract there was to then lead them to a win that cost them the number one pick. So he might be coming off a little bit of confidence, like that game proving like, hey, I can still play in this league kind of thing, and I think he feels comfortable being back here with obviously the offensive coaches, he wasn't really here with them, but with Snyder and the situation here, he's comfortable with that.
I only saved you a minute, so I'm sorry, not a long time for this answer, but it's an easy one. What's your personal kind of project for today? What are you watching for when you get out there at practice?
I was going to try to pay a bit more attention to kind of the bottom of the rookie class today, because I felt like I didn't do that the other day. Yeah. So I was really kind of watching for Gray Zabel and Evan Warray and stuff like that. So kind of the rest of the guys, see what Torrey Horton does, Damian Martinez, guys like that, and just kind of see exactly what some of those guys are doing. Cause, the first day is always kind of just really trying to the big picture stuff and kind of paying attention to that.
And then daily recaps for the times.
Yes, yeah.
All right, you guys, check it out, seattletimes.com, Bob Condotta, also the Seattle Times app. You can read Bob's work there. Thank you, Bob.
Yep, thanks a lot, you guys. All right.
All right, let's get to 4 down territory.
Extra, read all about it. Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bob and Stacy.
The Edmonton Oilers host the Florida Panthers for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight. What's the real headline?
Connor McDavid is still looking for his first Stanley Cup, but I have 2, so he can have one of mine. I actually have 3.
Do you?
Yes.
I think my daughter has 2 as well. And then we got like some knockoff Stanleys. She likes them though.
I do. Every time I see a new color, like Target has these yellow ones now, and I pass them and I almost bought one. I literally picked it up, put it in my cart, took 3 steps, and was like, Stacy, stop it.
How much are they?
Like
$100?
No. Let me see. I think they're like $40, right?
$40.
Let's see. Stanley Cup, maybe 50.
Well, let's.
Well, that's not the Stanley Cup we're talking about.
Let's get Connor McDavid one. I've mentioned it before, man, on one of my 4 rounds instead of 4 downs that. He is the guy that I really want to have success. I know as an American, we don't want a Canadian team to win a Stanley Cup. It's been 30 years, but forget all that noise, man. 385 points the last 3 seasons. That's the most in NHL. 263 assists, top 2 in the NHL. You just watch this young man play. It's ridiculous. The body control is crazy. 19 game-winning goals. It's only right. That's the only thing this man is missing from his story, and I want him to go get it, but we know that Florida is a good club.
Headline rewrites.
After last night's loss to the Orioles, the Mariners are half a game behind the Astros in the AL West standings. What's the real headline?
Between that loss and George Kirby getting hit, the Mariners now have to stop 2 kinds of bleeding.
Yeah, they do. And stop it fast, man. And, before the series started, we were looking at the Orioles and saying you should win this, but you also know you can't look past anybody, especially when you are the Mariners. So, we put some pressure on guys. They lost 4 of their last 10. We've been asking for Polanco to step up a bit. 2 hits his last 35 ABs. We need Randy to have those clutch moments. And then, you know what? Julio have clutch moments because he's playing okay, but he hasn't came through since. I want to say he had like a double with the bases were loaded a couple series ago. That's probably the last time that I felt like he came through in the clutch, and he's had other opportunities. So yeah, you win this one today, we might feel different about this ball club, but we're gonna need some consistency from some other names.
Kirby he gave up 8 hits total, mostly singles, and then obviously allowed 2 earned runs. Bump, I'd consider that a better outing. But how did you feel overall? We didn't talk about Kirby a ton in the open.
I felt better about it. It's who was I listening to? Wyman on my drive home yesterday. He said the first, and it was perfectly the way he described it. Like his first outing was, okay, we'll see. Second one, let's get a bit better. Third, all right, we're moving in the right direction. And the fourth one, you're like, now we need to see it. I think he's on track to do exactly that. Unfortunately, he got hit in the face. That was a bit scary, but I was okay with how he looked yesterday.
Yeah, I think so too. I get it, right? Like we think of Kirby as being one of the best arms on this staff, and obviously just immense control last year that doesn't seem to quite be there this year. And with Logan still down, you just think like, oh my God, can there be some answer? Like if I don't trust that the bats are going to suddenly get hot, I desperately need this team to get back to elite pitching, and it's just not. But there's still plenty of play left, and I would also count a step forward as the 2 runs allowed. Like it wasn't perfect, but like it did feel like a little bit of a step forward for Kirby. I agree. What's next?
Headline rewrites.
The Colorado Rockies won their series against the Marlins and snapped their streak of 22 consecutive series losses. What's the real headline?
Narrowing the Dodgers' lead to 26 games. Look out, LA.
Hang in there. Yeah, we got to look over our shoulder. Talking about Colorado.
About to make your life rocky.
11-50 on the season. They have the worst team batting average, worst team on base percentage, worst or second or third worst slugging, worst OPS. They have created the least amount of strikeouts on the mound, the third least quality starts, 0 shutouts. But then I had a little side note. Seattle has 1, so we're right there with you, Colorado. Yeah, when I see things like this, teams that are absolutely no threat to anybody, okay, I appreciate that. I applaud and say you go ahead and win, because I cannot imagine being on that team. The 2 worst teams I've ever played on. One was here in Seattle. We were 4-12. The other one was when I was in high school, like my sophomore year. We were like 2-10 or something like that. And it is frustrating. I can imagine doing that for over 160 games. Football is so short compared to a MLB season. But man, good for you, Colorado. Give your people something to cheer about. And I think they're playing right now too. So let's see if they can go back to back.
And I was just looking at the scoreboard. Look, I don't want to jinx them, but last time I checked, they were up 1-0 on the Marlins. I got to bring up the scoreboard again. I mean, we could be looking at a sweep here. I think this is where the season turns around.
This is where it all changes.
Did Matt and I look at the playoff odds for the Rockies? Yes. Are they still at exactly 0%? Yes, that is correct.
Yes.
They're absolutely gone. They're not relevant in any way this season, of course, but we were so happy for them. And,
it's crazy that Colorado, I don't know much about their organization and how much they spend or whatnot, but Denver's such a cool spot. You would think, and it's a hitter-friendly ballpark as well. You would think they'd be able to bring some talent over there. I got to do some research on the history of the Rockies and see exactly what's stopping them.
I need someone who knows more about the Rockies, and I don't know how many people are like that in the Seattle market, but to tell me if, like, is this an intentional kind of tank? Is this horrible, like a horrible GM job? Was there 5 trades that backfired? Like, I regretfully I'm not a massive Rockies fan. I don't know what's happening. And I need to know, like, where did this go so wrong to where you are Cleveland Spiders-esque, historic levels of badness. Let's see. We have someone asking, we'll take about a minute just hitting the text line. Why is Polanco in the lineup and not on the IL? I thought that Cole Young being called up, the corresponding move might be Polanco to the IL.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they just don't think maybe they think it's more, he's just in a slump. He's not hurt. He's in a slump.
I think that's what they think. I think they're looking at what he did to start the season and saying he can get there. We can get him back to where he was, and maybe they can. But at some point, we talked about this yesterday. Mm-hmm. What's the point to where you have to make a move? You cannot continue down this road. I don't think they're there yet because it's only been like a week or two of them. Just anything. It could be Polanco, a young guy, an arm, whatever. Like, when do we start seeing these major type of moves? And, you have to be patient in this game because there's so many games being played. But once you start looking like the team that we saw last year and the year before, you got to get a little antsy, I would hope, at least.
You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Taking a look around the NFL next. Don't go anywhere.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
In Cal, you're seeing a superstar start to develop. He's starting to get that national recognition. It's always been, when you talk about the Mariners, you'd sort of talk about the rotation as a whole. Sure. Talking about an individual, it's been Julio. And it feels like Cal is starting to move into that spot. Now, here's the thing. Neither, by baseball standards, are being paid as a superstar.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here from my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 6/22/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Take advantage of Lake Washington Windows hot savings. $750 off per window and $1,500 off per door with leak armor installation. And enjoy 12 months same as cash financing only through June. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams primer and ceiling paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13, delivery by 8 p.m., subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Call or click 811 before you dig. Anything that causes you to roll up your sleeves a little and dig in requires you to first connect with 811. Call or click 811 and visit safeexcavator.com.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Hey. We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
G. Scott here with former Seahawks Cliff Averill and Doug Baldwin. I heard you guys are having a celebrity pickleball tournament to raise money for Nourishing Champions. Why pickleball?
Obviously, it's a growing sport, but also this model is that we will actually be playing with community.
We are the most competitive people, so regardless of how sorry Doug might be, he will be out there competing like it's a Super Bowl.
Sign up for the Celebrity Pickleball Tournament, open to all skill levels. For details, go to championsofchangefoundation.org/pickleball.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Start right here in Seattle. The Seahawks have selected 7 linebackers for their top 50 players list. A couple of these names are not going to surprise you at all. In fact, none of them should, so let's run through it in no particular order. Chad Brown, Keith Butler, Rufus Porter. Of course, you got Lofa, Bobby, and KJ. And then you have Fred Young.
Yeah, man, I'm happy for Lofa. I was actually at that charity tournament on Monday, and he was there as well. And I asked him about
Lofa.
this, and, Lofa, man, I don't care, man. Whatever happens. I'm like, Loaf, you're going to get on that dang list. So congratulations to him. Obviously, Bobby Wagner might be the greatest linebacker of all time here. And then KJ Wright, one of the greatest, and also might be one of the more unappreciated, underappreciated backers. And then you throw the OGs in there. Chad Brown, if you call him an OG, he's a little about 10 years older than me. But no, this is a good list, man. There's nothing on this list that surprises me, and I don't feel like anybody was left out.
This is kind of the point of what the Seahawks are doing with a 50th anniversary type, or like a 50 type countdown, is a renewed appreciation for the players that have been through this organization. Yeah. And look, mission accomplished, because that's what I found myself thinking is, oh my God, wow, all these guys were Seahawks? Oh my God, wow, like the talent they've had come through here. Bobby Wagner's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Easy.
And you're saying that on a list that also includes KJ Wright, who was constantly snubbed for more national recognition. Mm-hmm. And you're right, kind of like didn't get as much credit as he deserved. And I'll say this about Rufus Porter. Not enough people naming their kids Rufus anymore.
Rufus.
You know what I mean?
That is a strong name. That is a build character type of name right there.
There's just jobs you can't have if you're Rufus.
Like what job?
I don't know, like a job where it's a waste of time. Like, oh hey, I'm Rufus. I'm a taxidermy specialist. Boring. No, you're a linebacker.
You gotta have a unique, a unique job, but a job that holds a lot of responsibility. If your name is Rufus.
Yeah, like Colt McCoy had one job really that was an option for him, and it was football player. Yeah. It's just, you can't have that name and not only not be a football player, but not be a quarterback. But we're not talking about quarterbacks. Go linebackers. Congratulations to all of these guys. I want to get back to KJ Wright for a minute. Bobby Wagner's the most decorated player on this list, best linebacker that this team has seen, but so much talent. We have so much love for Lofa. Also underrated in his own right. But I want to talk about KJ just a little bit. KJ played here with Bobby, which helped overshadow a little bit of that, but so much stability from those two being here. If you isolate KJ, what did he individually, just KJ, bring this team?
One, leadership on and off the field. KJ, one of the best human beings I've met. So there's that, and that has to translate to his leadership in the classroom, on the football field. He also kind of switched positions, right? He went to that Sam spot to where he had to be on the line of scrimmage and take on blocks and all that good stuff. And he didn't really want to do it, but he did it because that's what the team needed him to do. And then there was one point where he was considered the screen sniffer. Like, if you ran a screen to his side, he was blowing it up, even had a few interceptions. I believe his last year he had 3 interceptions. And was able to not reinvent his game, but kind of add something to his game. And I think that that was underappreciated, man. Everything he brought to this squad. And then now he's teaching it all to the Niners. Still love you, KJ.
What's the play that you think about with any particular one of these guys? I was thinking about with Bobby. He's got a really cool interception, I think, against the Vikings.
Pick six.
Yeah. And then a pick six. With KJ, for some reason, I think of, God, I want to say the Dallas Cowboys, and I don't even know that this
Oh,
is
yeah.
a win.
It was in the playoffs.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
and
a loss.
And it was just the ability to see this person's a couple steps ahead of everyone else.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, some young defenders weren't there with him.
He was doing someone else's job.
That's exactly. I don't know why with KJ that
Yeah.
stands out to me, but I feel like it kind of summarizes KJ's career here. Is like he was so smart and such a team player, and it didn't always make like the splashiest play, but knew exactly what to do and where to be.
Yeah, my play with Lofa is a personal play at practice. I went across the middle, and he just laid me out. I'm like, dang, Loaf, it's practice. My bad, buddy, my bad. Just picked me up and got me out of there.
Did you guys, given Pac-12 roots, know each other well before coming here, or is this when you became friends?
No, we knew who we were. Like
Well, of
I
course.
played him 1 year when he was at SC, and then had to finish up. I don't know. I knew who he was. I believe he knew who I was, but no, we didn't really connect until I got up in Seattle.
Did you connect more as friends after playing, or was it like that
After
hit
playing.
was the start of a beautiful
Well,
friendship?
he was always cool. That's the thing about Lofa, man, is that even if he doesn't know you, he's gonna treat you as if you are one of his good friends. But no, after he was done and I was done, and we started doing all these charity events and hanging out and supporting the Hawks, that's when we kind of connected.
Someone said, "Wait, Wyman isn't on the list." Straight disrespect.
He's probably on the Broncos list.
Someone said, "No Bruce Irvin. How dare they?" I wonder if they'll.
He's like an edge, though.
Yeah, I think they might. Well,
might-
then
throw him
there's
in
a
the
couple
edge.
big names in that group too.
Yeah.
Bruce Irvin is probably in there.
I would assume he's gonna be on that list.
And I know there are also specific qualifications. Wyman and Bob went over them, and I'm totally blanking on all of them. But like only certain names.
Certain
are
amount of Pro
eligible.
Bowls,
Uh-huh.
I think. Yeah, there's a few things.
Let's see. No one else really taking issue with the list. You already knew exactly what would be on here. Oh, by the way, we had Bob Condotta on, and Bob mentioned that the majority of the running back snaps were Charbonnet and McIntosh, and someone said, where's Walker? I think he was just implying that some guys are just resting to be safe. So you're going to hear a lot of notes, including notes we have Friday, probably about guys that aren't starters. All right, let's get to our next story here. Giants running back Cam Scadaboo. This is tough. This is a tough look. He appeared on Amon-Ra St. Brown's podcast, the St. Brown podcast. It didn't go well. It wasn't great. He was given a quiz on NFL grades, and I will preface, and he says it in the clip. He's born in 2002, so age is not working in his favor. But I don't know, man. Some of these are unforgivable. Cut 12. Take a listen.
I got no idea who this is.
There's no way. When were you born?
2002.
He's an 02 baby. You tell me you don't know who that is. Nah, this is making me sick, bro. Wait,
I feel like I know his face, but I don't know. I can't tell you
one
his
of the
name.
best receivers to ever play the game of football. He played for the Lions.
Is Megatron?
Yeah.
Is he?
Yes. No, I'm
I thought
sick.
I thought he had a little bit more chocolate to him. I thought he was a little bit more darker than that.
With chocolate.
The bottom one's a quarterback too?
Yep.
I have no idea who that is.
Brett Favre. Brett Favre. I don't know if you've heard of him.
That's long.
Crazy.
I mean, I've heard of him, of course, but I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
Brett
I can
Favre.
see it now, but
Yeah.
you just showed me an older picture of
Yeah.
him. Yeah, for sure.
That should be. You grew up a Niners fan, right? That's probably one of your worst enemies as a Niners fan.
So you played on the Seahawks?
Yep.
That ain't Bobby Wagner.
Nope. Legion of Boom. Safety.
Oh yeah. Chancellor?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll say him not knowing Brett Favre is probably going to get most of the attention. Calvin Johnson is going to get most of the attention. The most underrated and hilarious part of this clip that we didn't include because it's just so long, is when he's shown a picture of Golden Tate and says, "Calvin Johnson again?" So unintentionally
He said,
funny.
but he clearly said he thought he had more chocolate in him, and Tate is lighter than
Yes,
Calvin.
yes.
What are you doing?
Cam, get it together. So you were mathing
Yeah.
and trying to figure out, because I know everyone's like, oh my God, what an idiot. But keep in mind, when Cam Chancellor and the Seahawks were winning a Super Bowl, Cam was like 10 or 11, okay? 11. So the equivalent for you would be what?
It was Jerry Rice. It's like me not knowing Jerry.
Okay.
Calvin Johnson is our generation's Jerry. There's only 5 receivers where everybody, if you love football, you know. It's Jerry, it's Randy, it's Calvin, it's T.O., and then throw a Tim Brown maybe, throw a miscellaneous in there. Like there are at least 4 that every football player needs to know.
Yeah, this is pretty unforgivable. And
he has the internet. He's got smartphones.
This is the thing.
Come on, man.
There are times when someone can be forgiven for not knowing a sports reference, most especially when age isn't. Like, I remember, this is obviously years ago, but Jimmy Graham and Luke Wilson were calling each other the Bash Brothers, and this was like a generational moment. Mm-hmm. There were quite a few reporters who were like, oh, Bash Brothers, like, you mean like Jose Canseco, like that, and they were like, oh, no, we mean Mighty Ducks. Now, granted, they're washed now, well, into their 30s, and young people don't know about the Mighty Ducks, but there are, like, certain things you just kind of have to accept about, like, hey, someone's not going to have the same experience. But listen,
I'm not
young
accepting
man,
that.
you are a ball player.
Yes.
You are in the league.
Yes.
If I said, who did you watch growing up? Genuinely, who did you watch? Did you watch? Like,
Said he was a Niners fan. Barely knew Cam.
That's wild to me.
Crazy.
Why did you only watch the 49ers? And that's it. And if you did, how did you not know? Yeah, how did you not know?
He didn't watch
Cam?
it. He was just looking at it.
But I mean, the years that he would have watched would have still been, Cam's final season was 2017.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, you're a teenager at that point.
Yeah.
Unforgivable. Absolutely unforgivable. All right, Justin Hollander was on the Starkville podcast. Really cool conversation. We split it up into 2 parts. We're going to talk about the current team coming up a bit later in the show. Coming up next, he talks about firing Scott Servias and what Dan Wilson has brought to the team.
Seahawks OTAs continue, and Seattle sports is there.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
This thing on?
It's on.
All day today with Bump and Stacy live at the VMAC at 9 a.m.
OTAs kicking off today.
Followed by Wyman and Bob right up to Mariners pregame at 5:30.
We'll talk about what stood out.
We are your eyes and ears on the sidelines at Seahawks OTAs. The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael Bumpus. If you have nothing to do this weekend, you want to get away and recharge, this is what you do. You go up I-5 North, get off exit 260, and that's where you'll find Silver Reef Casino. I did it. You should do it as well. They have comfortable rooms. They're spacious. Free Wi-Fi. They also have tablets there as well. You get all settled in. You got to go downstairs and check out all the restaurants that they have, the steakhouse and the cantina if you want a Mexican type of vibe. And the Porter's Bay Sports Bar, I went there, had a beverage, watched all the games, good situation, and it is golf season. Loomis Trails Golf Course is open, 18 holes with water everywhere. Be patient, bring a lot of golf balls, and also in the month of June, every Saturday you can win $5,000. They also have a bunch of great events coming up. Howie Mandel is going to be there. Desperado is going to be there. That's an Eagles tribute band. Also Neil McCoy. Book your tickets at silverreefcasino.com. Silver Reef Casino is not a secret anymore. Visit silverreefcasino.com.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm, I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams primer and ceiling paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13. Delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. Not a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men, too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat-freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
When you have really good leaders, it makes it easy.
Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another dealership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even like our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here. I see people start out as a lot porter, and people work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Mariners GM Justin Hollander appeared on the Starkville podcast to talk about roster construction and a tough hitter's park and his own journey to the front office, as well as what it was like moving on from Scott Servias and bringing in Dan Wilson. We split this up into two separate conversations. There's so much good sound here. When it comes to constructing this roster, his own journey, stuff about the current team, we pushed that back a little bit. This part was just going to be about firing Scott Servias, which I would say Justin talked about at length for the first time. We obviously have heard both Justin and Jerry mention it, but it was a bit of insight into kind of the ruthlessness of the front office in MLB. So let's get to it. We'll start with cut 13, Justin Hollander, on actually making the move.
Probably the worst week of my professional life, having to talk through those decisions and ultimately do what we felt was best for the Mariners in that moment. Obviously, Scott accomplished a ton as the manager of the Mariners. He's a great manager. I have 100% confidence that he will manage again and be very successful. We just weren't playing well, and we hadn't played well for a long time. And it's something that we hadn't really ever considered, either from a coaching or a managerial perspective before. I think last year we made changes with the hitting coaches, and we made changes to the manager, things that we had never done in season before, dating back to when Jerry, Scott, and I worked in Anaheim together. It's just very rare for us to make those kind of changes, mostly because I think that our mindset has always been we're all in this together, and it's not a person's fault. There's a lot of reasons why a team may not be playing up to expectations, and it's really hard and sometimes unfair to point the finger at someone. And this wasn't really a change in philosophy with that. We just felt like we needed a different voice. We needed to shake things up and try something different.
Bump, when Scott Servias was fired, we felt like it was kind of a scapegoat situation where this team was failing because players weren't executing. They didn't have a ton of money invested, right? Like they had a roster that had little margin for error, and unfortunately for them, they weren't good enough. And so it felt like finger pointing to Scott. But in hearing Justin talk about sometimes you just got to do it, do you feel differently?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, Justin is going to tell us the message that the organization wants out there. And I think there's going to be some truth to that, but I also think that there's going to be some sugar coating as well, because he's a professional. He's not going to go out there and just throw Scott under the bus. At the same time, he was being real. Look, we're not winning, and sometimes you just need a different voice. I guarantee you he can think of 10 to 15 instances where they're not on the same page. The philosophy is different. They feel like the guys aren't responding. It's not necessarily all Scott's fault because he doesn't make the roster, but maybe he is not getting them to perform in the way that they think they're capable of performing. So, no, I still feel the same way about it. I still feel like Scott didn't deserve to get his job taken from him. But I also know, like, as a leader, right, I own a company. Sometimes there's a guy who is qualified for the job but just doesn't fit with this culture. So it's not that you're not doing a good job. You can't do a good job. It's just that you're not going about it the way that we think is fit, and we feel like it's best if we go separate ways, and you're going to be fine elsewhere.
Let's talk about the addition of Dan Wilson, Cut 14. Here's Justin.
Dan is really unique. I think the respect that Dan has in our clubhouse from all 26 guys is unique, because he's a legendary figure in our organization. Dan had been around. He'd worked in player development, worked with our catching group. He'd worked with a lot of our players on our current roster, because during the COVID summer, he was at the alternate site every day working with our players. He drove down from Seattle to Tacoma, where our alternate site was set up. So Dan has spent a lot of time around our then minor league players, now our major league players. Dan is very good at allowing the experts in their field to run their field. So the pitching group, Dan, will sit in on the meetings and oversee, but he gives them a lot of carte blanche, a lot of freedom to exercise their expertise in the way they think is best. Same thing on the hitting side. So, I think Dan's combination of being relatable, understanding what his baseball identity is, and instilling that confidence in our team has been really good for that group.
Now, in my mind, Scott Servias, also a former player, a former catcher. In theory, you should be able to relate to him. However, the reality is that sometimes guys with very similar backgrounds, and you've seen this with coaching, sometimes just different guys resonate. And there's not always a rhyme or reason. It just happens.
Yeah, and sometimes guys get tired of hearing the same voice, too.
Sure, yeah.
And I think that's kind of what happened here in Seattle with Pete Carroll as well. You've been here for so long, and it just doesn't hit the same way it used to. The message doesn't hit. And I guarantee you, Pete has taken 85% of what he had here over there to Vegas, and they're going to buy in this because it's a new culture, right? New situation. I think maybe that's what Dan's doing. From what I can gather, right? I'm not in the dugout, not in the clubhouse, but it seems like his relationships with the player are a bit more on a personal level, to whereas Scott was more of, the uncle at the barbecue that you just say what's up to, and you go get his beer when he tells you to go get it. And nothing wrong with that. You respect that uncle, and he's going to be there for you too. But, as the organization gets older and you're bringing new players, you get a feel for how they respond to things, and maybe they felt like Service wasn't able to connect. But I guarantee you, like Hollander just said, he's going to get a job elsewhere, and he'll be able to connect with those players because that culture will be a bit different.
You know what I'm wondering, like in real time right now, is whether the Mariners' history, context, it matters there. Like if a really tough, hard-nosed, maybe you've got some favorites managerial style, works with a team that has a ton of confidence in itself and isn't going to be as shaky when things go bad, and that maybe with the Mariners in particular, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I try to figure out how to describe it. Yeah, you're young, you're unproven,
Yeah.
you might have self-doubt, even if you won't admit it. You haven't been there before.
Yeah, I bet you Service could manage. I mean, most teams could manage teams with lots of talent,
But like if
right?
you threw him on the Dodgers.
But yeah, like because those guys are established. They've been there, they've done that, they're confident, they can feed off each other. You don't necessarily need someone to nurture you through anything. You just set the lineup in and give us real facts and information when we need it. This team feels a bit different because you have a homegrown Cal Raleigh who's coming up, a Julio Rodriguez who's trying to figure some things out. You got young arms in the bullpen and in the rotation. Your bottom of your lineup is experimental. You're trying to figure out who can do what. there's a lot of nurturing that needs to happen with this group, and it's not a bad thing. I think sometimes people hear the word nurture, and y'all automatically want to call these guys soft. Like, no, this is just where they are in their development. In their developmental stage right now, this team as a whole, there's a bit more communication or different type of communication that's needed for these guys to play at a high level. Now, how is Dan going to switch up or respond? Because now you're in a dark place, right? Everyone's second-guessing this team right now. How do you respond?
Justin also talked about Cal Raleigh's spectacular season and the differences between last season and this year. We'll get to that coming up at 1:30. Again, a lot from the Starkville podcast. Coming up next, though, NFL Network's Jamie Erdahl.
Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald, exclusively with Brock and Salk.
Your cohort, Mr. Schneider, talked a lot this offseason about pivoting. How was all of that?
It's kind of how we operate. You're looking at the lens of what we're trying to build, what's going to be best for us. I know it seemed like a lot, but we had time kind of behind the scenes here, and I thought we ended up with a team we're really excited about. The guys that are here are fired up for.
Watch the full conversation on the Seattle Sports YouTube page or get the podcast on the Seattle Sports app.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with a team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
Summertime is Pacific Power Batteries time. Okay, maybe that's a stretch. But we do sell more batteries in the spring and summer because you folks are all out there doing stuff. Golf carting and boating and buzzing around on stuff that needs batteries. When's a good time? How about tomorrow? We're open 7 days a week to test any battery and let you know the honest answer. Summertime and the cranking is easy. Happy trails from Pacific Power Batteries.
Headed to the ballpark? Skip the traffic jams, parking fees, and the stress of driving. Make riding transit part of your game day ritual. Roll in with your crew, talk stats, and meet fans. No traffic, no stress. Community Transit riders enjoy seamless connections to light rail and ferries to get to Seattle and beyond. And youth 18 and under ride the bus for free. All in for the win. Plan your trip with Community Transit at ctgo.org/home run.
Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement. Book a free estimate online, and when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. It's Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better, live stronger. Start now.
If you've ever wondered if there's something after death, Tyler Henry proves the answer is yes. Be part of his live audience readings and his jaw-dropping ability to connect with the departed at Muckleshoot Event Center, Thursday, July 10th and Friday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Experience this evening of hope and healing, bringing peace and closure to loved ones. Tyler Henry proves our loved ones never leave us. Get tickets at muckleshootcasino.com.
Muckleshoot.
Hey, 12s, Steve Rabel here, voice of your Seattle Seahawks. The wait is over, and tickets are on sale now for our historic 50th season. This season is going to be legendary, with past, present, and future colliding at Lumen Field. Get your tickets today at Seahawks.com/tickets.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Chuck McDowell here again. Over the years, I've seen way too many timeshare exit companies pop up, take folks' money, and disappear. I just saw an ad from an exit company started by a couple of bozos that used to work for me. My advice, don't hire bozos I'll fire. Want out of your timeshare? I'll send you our free timeshare exit info kit explaining your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free kit. Call 800-995-2929. That's 800-995-2929.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Edmonton Oilers host the Florida Panthers for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight. Puck drops at 5 p.m. Pacific. The Panthers are looking to repeat as champs with an even deeper team this year. They're favorites in this series. The Mariners are taking on the Orioles today at 6:40 p.m. Emerson Hancock gets the start in Tacoma. Logan Gilbert set to make his second rehab start.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. We're going to be joined in just a moment by NFL Network's Jamie Erdahl. She's the host of Good Morning Football, an NFL Network host. Thursday and Friday's editions of Good Morning Football feature an all-female cast. Let's see if we have...
Ladies!
Let's see if we have Jamie, NFL Network's Jamie Erdahl on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Jamie, how's it going?
Hey, I'm awesome. How are you?
Fantastic. Thanks. Perfect timing. We were just talking about the all-female cast that's going to be on Thursday and Friday's editions of Good Morning Football. Tell us who we're going to be seeing.
Yeah, thank you so much. You are going to be seeing myself and Jane Slater and Cynthia Freeland tomorrow, as well as Kelsey Conway, who's a beat writer for the Cincinnati Bengals. So that's tomorrow. We're actually going to have Jane Goodell on, Tracy Wolfson, and then on Friday, myself again and Jane Slater and Madeline Burke, who's the Giants team reporter as well. So it's a lot of guests, a lot of female voices coming through. But I just want people to know who I appreciate so much, who normally turn our show on NFL Network just out of kind of habitual morning routine. It's still GMFB. It's a regular episode. We're doing regular Throwdown Thursday stuff. And the voices are just, as we have been doing all off season, if anyone's noticed, a lot of changes at the table. Thursday and Friday just happen to be an all-female cast. It's going to be the same GMFB. We're talking about every team and the national news in the NFL. So no big changes besides, the most powerful female voices in the NFL. So I'm really excited. First time ever for our show, but not an original idea to bring all female voices to a table.
I love it. I love it. Jamie, you are a Vikings fan, so you got to watch Sam Darnold up and close. Well, probably not up and close, but you followed him and you watched what he did last year. I was one of the few who said he was going to have himself a decent year. Didn't think it'd be the year that he had. Why do you think he was able to do it? Minus the personnel that's over there, we know that helps, right? But what about Sam Darnold made him have the success that he had?
Well, I mean, first off, congrats to you. What made you say that he was going to do that? Because you are right. I don't see anyone besides the list of people that were effectively mocking him in his time in different teams that no one had that happening. So what did you know that we didn't?
I watched a lot of film on him, and I felt like he just wasn't surrounded with talent. The coaching wasn't great. There was it was a lot of his decision making, but obviously if you put a guy with his type of talent in the right situation, I thought he had a chance. So it's hard to mess it up with Justin Jefferson, Addison over there, and O'Connell.
Jamie, I will let you know that someone could run the tape back and find it, and I'll admit that our regular producer Curtis and I regularly made fun of Bump for this take. So that's how I remember that it was definitely a take he had.
Well, that's fantastic, and Vikings fans appreciate the crystal ball. But, you know, I think a lot of it, obviously, Kevin O'Connell, but I am a huge Josh McCown fan. I remember running back into him in the halls of the Indianapolis in the Combine in Indianapolis, obviously, in the spring of, I guess, what would it have been, 2023, 2024? Yeah, 2023, because it would have been 2023. He would have just been hired by KOC to come in. And, you know, he's around for a year. And then all of a sudden, Josh McCown, Kevin O'Connell, J.J. McCarthy, and Sam Darnold in a room. And for some reason, those four brains together got Sam Darnold on a track. And I can imagine it was a great learning curve for J.J. McCarthy to watch. But I specifically have to imagine what a confidence builder for Sam Darnold in his career. To your point, I can't imagine a worse start for a rookie and going to a media market like New York and just getting eaten alive, and to have the wherewithal to come back from that and to go to San Francisco and be nurtured, maybe from an intellectual standpoint, and really, because I know Sam Darnold credits so much to Shanahan and what he did for him. And then to put it all together on tape and on the field for the Vikings last year, I was one to say I was going to be thrilled for Darnold wherever he ended up signing. And the fact that it was with you guys and a coach that I feel that is going to continue to nurture him and Mike McDonald, I think it's a great fit. But I think he's just a good dude who's a hard worker who was put into a really tough spot, as it seems like all Jets quarterbacks are in the last 10 years. So I don't think it was through anyone's fault, and definitely not his, that he had such a bumpy start. But it's really to the working magic hands of KOC that got that guy back on track, and hopefully the Seahawks get to reap the benefit.
What did you make of Cooper Kupp signing here?
Oh, man. Again, another guy who I think the increase in the presence and the need and the value that Puka Nacua had for the Rams within their offense and his relationship with Matthew Stafford, you couldn't not put the emphasis on Puka Nacua for the Rams moving forward. And that's too bad. It was just bad timing for Cooper Kupp. I just couldn't see you carrying both of those guys moving forward. I never put any credence to anybody saying that they weren't friends or they didn't get along. I did a Rams game late in the season last year, and it seems like all things were clicking. Sometimes it just comes down to like a bummer economic standpoint. Now, all that being said, I do think it was fascinating and kind of hilarious that Cooper Kupp now goes within the division and he gets to show off what he still can do for the remainder of his career, however long he gets to stay with you guys. And he's got to see them, and the Rams have to see him twice a year. I think it's awesome. I love that he gets to play closer to where people watched him play college football. And I think that all of that coming back to the Sean McVay, Kevin O'Connell being with the Rams and working out the way that he put Cooper Kupp in an offense that worked, making Justin Jefferson look good, making Sam Darnold look good. All of a sudden, Cooper Kupp being back with Sam Darnold, this is going to be an awesome puzzle piece, and I think it's something to watch.
We've been obviously we had Geno Smith over here, a guy who was a journeyman, finds his home here, puts together 3 good years. And I start, like other people, following these other quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield having a second or third chance. Joey Flacco still in the league. And now Sam Darnold here. Do you think that the reason why the leash is so short on these quarterbacks is because of the relationship they have with the GM? Stacy and I've had this conversation. Like, GMs have to win right now. And if you don't win right now, you're going to lose your job, just like the quarterbacks. And do you feel like teams should be more patient with these older quarterbacks?
GMs have to win now, and so do the coaches, and so do the coordinators. I think the phrase win now conceptually has shortened over time. I think winning now even used to be, you'd be allowed to do that in 2 to 3 years. Now I feel like it's a 1 to 2 year situation. Unless you've had it validated in a different circumstance. I'm thinking, for example, of a Brian Dable and what Dable did in Buffalo with Josh Allen. I feel like that's given him a longer tenure with the Giants. But like, for example, he truly does have to win now. I think he is down to his final year of, you better work some magic with, look at this plethora of quarterbacks that we've given you. You got to make one of these guys work, and you got to make them look good. Now, do I think the window is too short? Gosh, I still think it's a case-by-case basis. I think it depends on the coach. That if you're coaching for your job, I think you're coaching not as freely as you possibly could. Is if you feel comfortable and confident in what you have going on, you're gonna try to put that guy in the best circumstance possible. Like I think another good example is KOC last year. Kevin O'Connell, not a guy coaching for his job. He was just trying to coach up what he was given, which shockingly last September 1st was just Sam Darnold. I mean, he didn't have J.J. McCarthy anymore. So really with that being said, it's like KOC is like, this is what I have to work with this year. And I'm not coaching for my job, so I'm just going to coach him up the best that I can. So I think it's a case-by-case basis still. I don't think there's just like a cookie cutter. You have to be able to give a guy 2 or 3 years. I do think there's also a feel to it of like, hey, this guy has it or he doesn't. I was in a conversation earlier with the Jacksonville station, and apparently people in Jacksonville are still just up in arms about whether Trevor Lawrence is a guy. It's like, how can you think he's not? But that's just coming from a place of, some places don't even have a dude. How could you be in Jacksonville and think that you don't want Trevor Lawrence? So every circumstance is different. I can't say cookie cutter, like you have to be able to win within 2 years. I can't say the same thing for every quarterback.
Do you think we just have like a general rush to make some big statement about a quarterback, either comparing him maybe incorrectly to someone else? I mean, Bump and I were just saying, I know he just referenced a similar conversation. We were just saying that like everyone thinks, either you're one of the very best or you're not, and there's this massive gray area, and it's an interesting conversation to me. We've been kind of having it for much of the day because Sam's in that gray area and Gino was in that gray area. For that matter, you could make the case that Jalen is as a passer in that gray area, and we just saw him win a Super Bowl.
Well, Bump, I love you, but I think it has a lot to do with the human nature of you wanting to be right. I think a lot of people want to be right, and I think they want to tell people that they were right about a guy. I do it too, so it's a very common occurrence. People do it just in the world, in the universe. I still want to be right about Bryce Young, for crying out loud. Like, I covered so many of that guy's games at Alabama that all I crave is for him to find success in the NFL.
Still
because
time, Jamie.
There's still time, and he's like such a cool dude, and like I just wish him the best, and maybe it needs to be his third team. Frankly, I don't think his size will warrant him making it to 2 or 3 teams, but like people want to be right. They want their team to win, and they want to be shown that they may have seen something that somebody else didn't. So yeah, it's I think. Would Joe Shane love to be able to point his finger at everybody and be like, I was right to trade back into the first round and get Jackson Dart? But that might be because he starts halfway through the season and the Giants are still like, 7-3. Something happens and they got to start Jackson Dart and he looks awesome and Joe Shane gets to be right on every front. I don't know. It just is it's so validating to be just right on the thing that you hit on.
Isn't it? So validating.
Okay.
I am.
But Stacy and I, we adopt a team every year. We were starting a foundation, adopt a team out of Seattle.
Rescue teams.
We've adopted Houston, Texas 1 year. We did the Commanders 1 year. And we're looking to adopt a team this year, a team that is going to exceed expectations. We're accepting nominations. So who do you think we should adopt this year? A team you think is going to exceed expectations?
Yeah, I've been saying this on the show recently that this is really a dangerous time of year. My husband knows it well. I start flirting with some teams that I'm thinking about putting into the playoffs. And I just have these visions of me holding up their card on September 3rd or 4th and Kyle Brandt losing his mind that I put this team in the playoffs last year. I was not right, even though I wanted to be right, that I just kind of threw the Titans into the AFC playoffs just because I wanted to mess around and see if I was right. I was not. I wish them the best. I am flirting with the Patriots this year.
Okay.
I'm flirting with the New England Patriots. I think the Patriots could be the second team in the AFC. And if they are, the AFC East, excuse me. And if they are behind the Bills, then I will call back in in early January, and I will say I love being right, and you three, and us three can have this conversation again.
Yes.
But I think Mike Vrabel being back in New England, I just fell in love with Will Campbell in our interview on draft night when he said, "I will fight and die to protect Drake May." It's my favorite thing ever. And so I just think they've done some things. I think the Patriots are similar, Steelers adjacent, last year removed, that it always seems like they figure it out. And I kind of believe in Mike Vrabel. So I would consider, I would tee up and campaign for the Patriots being your adopted team this year.
I know that with shows like Good Morning Football, and you guys have so many fun, creative segments, but look, sometimes you get into this period of the year where you go, they haven't hit the field yet, it's not training camp, it's kind of OTAs, we're past free agency, and you'd think that news would be slow, but sometimes there are those stories that you're still able to follow and are fascinating to you. Is there one around the league where you go, honestly, I could talk about this every day?
I could talk about this every day. Let me think about that for a second. I definitely don't want to talk about the Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers thing every day anymore. I'm done with that. Yeah, I just, you know what it is? I actually have a working theory on that right now, that I feel like we've all talked about it so much, and Rodgers just feels like such a contrarian to me that part of me thinks he's just going to mess around and sign with the Steelers or sign with the Saints or something like that. Like, just to make us all feel like, are we crazy? Did we never see this coming? I think what's happening in Cincinnati with Trey Hendrickson is kind of shocking, kind of uncomfortable. Yeah. It's confusing to me. You have your quarterback who played out of his mind last year coming out and saying that if he only played better, the Bengals would have made the playoffs. Like, how can you even put your team in a situation that is allowing him to go out there and feel like it's got to be all on his shoulders? You need a defense. You got to field a defense. You have a guy on the field in Trey Hendrickson who is putting numbers up like a Myles Garrett, like a Micah Parsons, and you can't figure it out to the point where he's standing in a golf polo during OTAs and making media statements. Like, we are so far from being on the same page. I just hate that. I hate that for the Bengals. I hate that for the Cincinnati fans. For Burrow and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, that offense doesn't deserve having a defense that can't figure it out, especially when you already have Trey Hendrickson in town. I could talk about that every day.
I can sense it. She is NFL Network's Jamie Erdahl. Maybe you can hear more from that story. She's the host of NFL Network's Good Morning Football, which airs Monday through Friday at 5 a.m. Pacific, followed by GMFB Overtime at 7 a.m. Pacific on the Roku channel, also syndicated across your local networks. Thanks so much, Jamie. We appreciate the time.
Yeah, good to hear from you guys. Thanks.
All right. Again, thank you to Jamie Erdahl. I mentioned that we're going to get back to that Justin Hollander sound. It's coming your way in about 15 minutes right now. Let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Going 4 rounds today. First round. Why are you shaking your head once again with the poor, innocent Dallas Cowboys?
They did nothing, right? That's their problem. They're not doing anything.
Oh.
You have one of the best defensive players in the game, and you still haven't paid him? Why are you waiting? You waited for Dak. You waited for CD. It's not like the price is going to go down the longer you wait. It might go up a little bit because now he's frustrated. He's probably going to get around $30, $35 million a year. But if you look at the impact that he has on the game, he should be getting paid like a dang quarterback. In 2024, he had 12 sacks. In 23, 14. In 22, 13. In 21, 13. The Cowboys need to take a page from the Eagles' book. Pay your guys. Don't wait. Pay them. If they're that important to you, they're the foundation of your team, go ahead and get it done. I'm like, why isn't Michael Parsons paid yet? He's going to be there with a bucket hat on and a towel, just sitting there being an extra coach. And I hope that he shows up and does a hold in and not a holdout, because I think that's beneficial for him and the team. But once again, I'm looking at the dang Cowboys, shaking my head. Why are you waiting so long to pay him? We've seen this before. It doesn't work out great. You want to keep his mental right. Hurry up and pay this dude.
Second down. What's an absolute about the quarterback position here in Seattle?
Sam Darnold can throw 20 interceptions today at practice. He's going to be the starting quarterback here. He could go out preseason, probably not even see him. We can see Jalen Monroe. We can see Drew Lock light it up during preseason. There's no way week 1 They're running out that tunnel, and if Sam Darnold doesn't have a C patch on his shirt and he is not the starting quarterback, it just is what it is. I've been asked that question so many times. I thank Salk for bringing up the conversation, because now I've been to a few places and everyone wants to talk about it. And I think it's healthy to have those conversations, but let me shut it down right now, okay? Sam Darnold's going to be the starter week 1. After that, we'll see what happens, right? Injuries, performance, whatever. But he's going to get the first crack at it. The first swing at the piñata is going to be Sam Darnold.
In Salk's defense, while Mike McDonald thought that was an asinine question, and clearly you guys are crazy, you and I and everyone else have seen that question a million times on the text line. And I know the text line isn't reflective of every single fan, but plenty of people have texted in theories about, I think it's going to be Jalen.
Yep.
I didn't like the Sam Darnold signing. I'm not that excited about it. We have seen that over and over and over and over.
That's why he asked the
now
question.
2 months.
That's why he asked the question.
Yeah. Third round. Heading outside of the NFL to the NHL here for the playoffs. What about the Oilers? Almost made you not root for them.
Man, I feel like I'm beating up on the Cowboys today, but every chance I get, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Okay.
The Edmonton Oilers. So I'm just doing, obviously, my research for the Stanley Cup. I'll be at Moonshine Barbecue watching that thing with my hockey heads over there. Holler at me, come eat some barbecue. But they made a run in the 80s where they won like 3 or 4 out of the next 5 or something like that. And then they disappeared. And I'm doing my research, and I'm like, man, they're giving me cowboy type of vibes over there. How are you so dominant? And then for X amount of years, you do absolutely nothing. But then I come back to just how the game is played now and the guy they have over there in Connor McDavid. And there's no way I'm not rooting for these guys. And I think they're the underdogs against Florida. I haven't looked at what Vegas is saying, but Florida going for back-to-back. So, no, I almost didn't do it. All right, they won the first Stanley Cup in 1983-84. Then they won in 84-85, then 86-87, then 87-88, 88-90. Like, they were on a run. I did not realize that Edmonton was doing it like that. And so it gave me Cowboy vibes, but then I calmed myself down and do it for Connor McDavid, the best in the game.
I feel like it could be like a really weak Eagles-Chiefs comp where, like, Edmonton right now has the best player in the game, and Florida is just stacked.
Yeah.
So much depth. And you're like, man, this could be just talent clearly winning out over someone who is the best and deserves it, and you're rooting for him, but just slightly more question marks on a still very, very good Edmonton team. Fourth round. To the NBA. What's a take on the Pacers winning the Eastern Conference that you do not agree with?
So as you know, Stacy, the conference has their conference championship trophy, and the Pacers, who'd they beat? I'm blanking on them right now. The Knicks. Take down the Knicks. And there are some people on ESPN who had issue with Reggie Miller offering or giving them the Eastern Conference trophy because he was on the game, he called the game, and he was a Pacers guy. And I completely disagree with that. I think that there are times where there could be some bias, but how many times have we heard Tony Romo call a Cowboys game or Troy Aikman call a Cowboys game? As long as their analysis is real, as long as they're calling them out for their weaknesses and praising their strengths, I have no problem with it. The analyst who was talking about it said that it just felt like it was too much of a home court advantage. Well, you're at home. You deserve that, right? It is an advantage. And Reggie Miller is arguably the best Pacer to ever play in the NBA. So why not let him celebrate that with the guys on the basketball court? I thought it was a crazy take. It's not like he had influence in the game. He's not a referee. He wasn't making calls out there. He's not a coach. He's an analyst. And I think Reggie Miller is professional enough to separate it. He did get caught saying us and we every now and then.
Yeah.
All right, so be it. But he called them out for their stuff too. So I had no issue with it.
You know what we should do? We should have like not bad take Olympics, but like a bad take award show where we look at some bad takes from like that month, because look, we're all gonna make them.
We all make them.
Sports radio, sometimes I'll see people say like, oh, what a stupid conversation, and you're like, sports radio is, what would you talk about? You've said it like bar top talk. What would you talk about at the bar top with your friends? What would you argue about with your best friend during a game? What would the group chat be going off about, right? Sometimes it is just dumb stuff or jokes or whatever. So bad takes are going to come along with that. But Panthers income tax leading to dominance would be my nominee out of the East.
Yes.
out of the Eastern Conference, my nominee would certainly be the Florida income tax situation or state tax situation has led to the Panthers' dominance. That would be my bad take nominee from a smart analyst, a very smart analyst.
Yeah, mine would be the Pacers one I just had right now. Like, what do you mean? It's perfect. He's there calling the game. Let Reggie hand over the trophy, especially after just beating the Knicks, too.
Come on.
Like, come on, man. It's poetic.
It's fine. Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
The Mariners continue their series against the Orioles tonight. First pitch at 6:40 p.m. Shannon Drayer's pregame show starts at 5:30 p.m. right here on Seattle Sports. More from Mariners GM Justin Hollander next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
You know, when Cal comes into work, I mean, he's a catcher. He's looking at game plans and how to get guys. So I know there's been a lot of talk about the heavy workload, but I mean, he's built for that. Some guys are just built to last.
Dan, he knows what it takes to be a catcher. He knows that life. He knows the grind and the pain in the knees and the lower back.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
It's time for a girls' night out back. Australia's Thunder from Down Under Temptation Tour is hitting Galaxy at Muckleshoot, June 5th through 7th. Tight abs, ripped bodies, and moves so hot you'll need a cold shower after. Get tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com and feel the thunder. June 5th through 7th, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
At Washington Energy Services, we take the time to get to know you and your home. We have the passion and commitment to see each project through and to treat our work as more than just a job. For over 65 years, we've offered award-winning home services, from heating and cooling, plumbing and electrical, to windows and doors. Complete home improvement handled from start to comfort. For peace of mind when you need it most, count on Washington Energy Services, bringing good energy to your home.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife. Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,000 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-859-6688. 800-859-6688. 800-859-6688.
Call or click 811 before you dig. Anything that causes you to roll up your sleeves a little and dig in requires you to first connect with 811. Call or click 811 and visit safeexcavator.com.
Sometimes even heroes need rescuing.
I'm a retired firefighter, 27 years.
Kurt had severe pain in his knees and his shoulder, which was keeping him from enjoying his well-deserved retirement.
Loved to ski, loved to fish, and couldn't even walk 18 holes.
That's why Kurt decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
He was just awesome. He goes, yeah, give me a shot. And he took care of me. He stemmed my knee and my shoulder.
And how are you feeling now?
I was pain-free in 12 weeks. I play golf now pain-free, and it's awesome.
So you'd recommend this treatment to others in your situation?
Absolutely. Yeah, Dr. Wagner's, he's had a couple people call me, and I recommended that they do it.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Oh, it is the time of the season for pests. That's right. No one likes them. No one knows where they come from, but we can all agree no one wants them in their house. Mike Salk here for Crawl Pros, and they have a full-service pest control division now called Pest Pros. They can come to your house and do a full corner-to-corner inspection, take care of any problems, just like they did at my home. This is the time of the year you'll start seeing more ants in and around your home. You may also begin hearing a little buzzing outdoors. Bees, wasps, hornets. If they make a nest on your property, that is a huge nuisance. So please don't try to take care of those nests on your own. Simply call Pest Pros to have any nest removed and destroyed professionally before the problem grows or you and your guest ends up getting stung. Pest Pros is the full-service pest control division of Crawl Pros with eco-friendly treatments to keep ants, stinging insects, and all sorts of critters from making their way into your home. If you're worried about rodents, ants, or other bugs or an issue in and around your home, call Pest Pros or visit gopestpros.com to schedule a free inspection at gopestpros.com.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Justin Hollander on the Starkville podcast talked about moving on from Scott Servias. We covered that sound a bit earlier in the show. You can go back and listen to it, or obviously check out the Starkville podcast. Right now, we're going to get to the differences between last season and this season, and there's also some sound on Cal. First, we'll start with the differences. This is going to be cut 18. He was asked basically, look, there are people that are worried that this offense isn't going to be quite enough. Bump, I know you see it. The number one comment I see about this team is, oh, I told you. They're back. Last year's Mariners, they're back. But Justin Hollander, cut 18, believes there is a difference.
Yeah, last year's team, I think I've said this before, is that even when we were way up in the standings, I don't really think we were playing very well. And I don't think that's like a unique opinion or a hot take. What we were doing wasn't really sustainable. We weren't scoring with any consistency. We weren't getting on base with enough consistency. We were striking out way too much. We just played bad offense over and over and over again. And we were too lopsided as a team. We were putting too much on one side of the team and sort of making the pitching carry us night after night after night. And at some point, there's going to be a blip. Unfortunately, last year's blip just lasted way too long. We didn't recover in time. We let 6 or 8 weeks go by of just not getting back on track and playing consistent baseball, winning series again. And it ultimately cost us. We fought tooth and nail at the end, but we didn't get back to where we needed to because we just weren't consistent enough, particularly offensively.
The Mariners were first in the AL West in June last year, obviously ended up losing that 10-game lead. At the time, I think they had a run differential of like plus 19, like fairly low. Even though we're seeing a more frustrating version of this year's Mariners, does it still feel like a different team to you?
It does. It feels like a different team with the potential of dipping back into what we saw last year, though, because he says some key words, right? Sustainability. We can't win ball games like that. And when you look at just their last performances, you got a 5-1 loss to Baltimore. You win a series against the Twins, way to tough that out. 3 straight losses between Washington and Minnesota. And then going into that Washington series, we're trying to figure out if this team was going to be capable of putting the teams they're supposed to beat away. Obviously didn't do that with Washington. Similar feel to last year. With the Twins, we're trying to figure out, okay, how good are the Twins and can you bounce back? Twins are decent. You look at their numbers, they're a pretty good ball team, and you were able to bounce back against that team. So it's the inconsistency in their play that allows those negative thoughts to creep back in your brain. But only time's going to tell. I mean, Hollander said 6 to 8 weeks where they couldn't get back on track. This better not last 6 to 8 weeks.
No.
You better put some series together and pull some off, because you have some winnable series. And every time I look ahead, someone always gets on the text lines. Don't look ahead. It's my job. I'm going to look ahead. I'm looking at Baltimore. You can still win this series. Then you have the Angels after that, and you have Arizona. I mean, we could feel differently about this team here fairly quickly. All starts tonight, obviously, but it's the lows can't be too low. And I think that has to be the difference with this team.
Yeah, and again, the offense as a whole has been better. That is backed up statistically with basic stats, advanced stats, and also just the feeling you get watching the game. And also, you know that it's better because the pitching hasn't been as good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, Justin said it during his response that last year's Mariners were like, can you scrape by with 3 runs? Great, because Kirby's only going to allow 2, so fantastic. This year's squad has had to do more, and they're just not doing it right now. That means, and now we're back to our open, that there is room for improvement, right? Like, your version of offense that you're still able to roll out, let's say you can still scrape 3-4 runs a game. Well, Logan could be coming back here pretty soon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kirby could be improving. You talked about seeing some improvement from him in this start, even though it wasn't exactly the one we wanted, a little too much contact there. There are pieces on the team you can look at and go, I see a world where this guy heats up. Julio is another name that you mentioned. So I think we both agree with Justin, right? And I would imagine most of our listeners do. I know some won't, but most of them can say, yeah, like it feels like a different team. The production's there. But the similarity that matters is, will this team miss the playoffs too? That's the one that matters. You can get to the end of the season and say, I don't care if they struck out less. I don't care, if they had more home runs. I don't care about any of this. Did this year's team make the playoffs, yes or no? Then I don't feel that much better about it. And that's ultimately where we're getting with this.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to a couple of those cuts from Justin. So let's go to cut 23. Justin talked about Seattle as a sports town and whether he feels the weight of it's no longer a playoff drought, but the weight of a lack of success here.
This is an unbelievable sports town. The people here really care and they're really connected. I think they're really connected to our players on this team in particular. I think they've seen a lot of them come through the minor leagues and sort of grow up in front of them. So I have to think if we could build a team that executed at a high enough level through the regular season and through October, we had a deep October run, that it would be something that the people here would talk about for the rest of their lives. And those sort of legacy moments are kind of what you do these jobs for, is that like you played, and we're not on video, but like I'm holding up my fingers, like you played this much a part in creating a memory for a generation of fans that they hadn't experienced maybe ever, maybe since 95, maybe since 01, like those sort of things, like they make you get up in the morning and want to find ways to help the team get better.
Bump, we talk about 95 here. That team didn't even make it to the World Series, clearly. But we talk about 95. Do you know how much just room, how much runway we've gotten from 95? And Justin's sitting here. If we could give people a memory, if this team could get to a World Series for the first time ever, like those are the things that you just don't take for granted here in Seattle.
No, you don't. You shouldn't. I mean, it's been 10, 11 years since the Hawks have been to a Super Bowl.
Still talk about it.
And still talk about it.
Legion of Boom 2.0.
You know, it's that playoff run from a couple of years ago seems like it took a while, or it's been more than a few years. No, I think here in Seattle there is a eagerness from the fan base to cheer on a successful competitive team.
Yeah.
But then also a cautiousness to buy in to good things that you see, because it's been so long since that's been a consistent part of who you are as a franchise, as an organization. And that's the uphill climb that management has, because they are responsible for putting together a ball team that is competitive. And when year after year you get to this point of the season and you start to see some similarities, people are going to start looking upstairs and saying, all right, what's going on up there? And a lot of people do. And I love our Texas, man, because you get all the angles. They'll attack anybody. You'll get the people upstairs. You'll get the coaches in the dugout. They hold the players responsible. And I think it's healthy. It's a healthy relationship in that sense, because it just shows that they're invested in what's going on here. And I think, and obviously Justin is too, man. If you guys have ever sat down and talked to Justin, you would feel his passion, and he wants this to work out for everybody. But it's just so hard to do it with some of the limitations that these guys have. Not an excuse, just the reality, and it makes it that much harder for them to have that success.
I think Justin, the impression I get from him, not just sitting with him in person when we've talked to him, but from this interview, which is fairly long and it's a good listen, is that Justin is keenly aware of the suffering that Mariners fans have gone through, of the frustration they have with this team, of the many ways that people have felt let down and are prepared to be let down again. And also aware of what he's trying to do, the things he believes in with this team. He's a little more cautious when he talks about this team than I think Jerry is. Last year when we talked to him, we were like kind of joking about the Astros being in the rear view. And he was like, I don't know. I mean, Texas and Houston are pretty good teams. Like, he was kind of almost telling us to, like, chill. Like, I don't feel comfortable right now.
Don't put that out there.
Exactly. Don't put that on me. I think it's just a lot to hold as a GM. And it is frustrating as a fan. Look, I feel that, and I don't think that's wrong for anyone to look at them and go, do something. I mean, for goodness sakes, do something. But I don't know. I thought that there was a lot of insight to take from this interview with what he's trying to do. Really enjoyed it. I have one more cut on Cal that I've been teasing for an hour, so I feel like we should get to it. Let's go to cut 17. Hollander talking about Cal's production.
It's the production and the amount that he posts while doing it. I think that at that position, I think everybody knows how hard it is to go play every day as a catcher in the big leagues. No one does it. Like, you're talking about how often can the best catchers in baseball actually get behind the plate and catch, and it's not usually, 160 times a year, or in Cal's case, between catch and DH, roughly play a whole season, play every day. And so his ability to go out there, switch hit, catch every day, run a staff that's one of the best staffs in the league, and hit in the middle of the order.
He's basically making your argument for an MVP vote for Cal Raleigh.
He does more. Cal does more than Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge, heck of a ball player, gonna win the MVP. But let's not get it twisted, man. Cal has a bit more responsibility than Aaron Judge, especially with a team that does not have the talent on the roster that Aaron is working with over there with the Yankees.
All right, we're wrapping things up next with What I Need to Know. So get your questions in. Any question right now, 866-979-3776.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
In Cal, you're seeing a superstar start to develop. He's starting to get that national recognition. It's always been, when you talk about the Mariners, you'd sort of talk about the rotation as a whole. Sure. Talking about an individual, it's been Julio. And it feels like Cal is starting to move into that spot. Now, here's the thing. Neither, by baseball standards, are being paid as a superstar.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client, and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, There's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer premium windows that are 25% more energy efficient, reduce noise by 50%, and come with clean glass technology. And Leak Armor Installation gives you a lifetime warranty to protect your home. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Do you know a woman that gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Shannon Dreyer here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help in finding her. Nominations for the 4th Annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at woiseattle.org.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Mike Salk here with special guest Ryan Roland Smith, and we love having Hyphen on the show to talk a little baseball, but today, talking about something a bit more personal, yet really exciting. Hyphen, share all the good news.
Thanks, Mike. Look, I've been hearing for about 2 years now how you did the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan and how you lost a ton of weight. I decided to see what the program was all about, and I'm so glad I did. So far, I've lost 30 pounds in just 60 days, and my only regret is not starting sooner.
Well, I'm happy for you. What's been the best part of the program so far?
Honestly, how simple it's been. There's no crazy exercises, no counting calories or scary shots or injections, no side effects or any of that stuff. I feel healthier, I'm sleeping better, I'm eating delicious meals, and the accountability plus communication from the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic team has made it fun.
Man, that is awesome, buddy. Would you recommend it?
Yes. To anyone listening, I was in your shoes. Just schedule a 15-minute consult at Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. It's all you have to do to start.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-444-9336. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-9336. That's 800-444-9336. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-444-9336.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's what I need to know. Get your questions in. 866-979-3776. Sports, non-sports, doesn't matter. I do have both. Sports or non-sports to start?
Non-sports.
Okay, here we go. I like this one. What would society struggle most with if it was suddenly taken away? Cell phones or refrigerators? Oh, cell phones.
I mean, right? it's cell phones, but it's refrigerators too, man. How you gonna keep all your food fresh and stuff? You know,
but we
change the way you eat.
But how am I gonna scroll in bed?
You find things to do. Go for a hike.
Read
go
a
for
book?
a walk. You know what's crazy?
What, do I get a carrier pigeon?
We're very dependent. It's probably cell phones because that's, everyone uses it.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone uses refrigerators too. But like little things now, like I'll know where I'm going and I'll still put it in GPS. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Just to get the timing and make sure I'm all good to go. Little things like that. And sports debates, back in the day, we used to just argue to the death. Now it's like, Google it. Google it on
That's
your phone.
True. Google and so many things. What I need to know, Bump, in all sports, who's the greatest to wear 24?
Yeah, that's a loaded question. Because Griffey's that dude, Kobe's that dude, and I feel like I'm missing somebody else who rocked 24 as well. I plead the fifth on that one because I'm not choosing between Griffey and Kobe. No. You know, but I'm not saying that. This is Seattle sports.
What I need to know, have you ever crashed a wedding?
Yes, I have.
You have?
Yeah.
What happened?
So when I travel for CW and Pac-12, we stay in San Ramon, which is like a nice suburb outside of Oakland. And they have these lavish like Indian weddings all the time. And the Indian weddings, if you're familiar, they party like for a week.
Yeah.
So I'll be there for 3 days, and every night they are partying. And every now and then I'll just walk into the reception and just dance up a little bit, have me a cocktail.
Imagine
and
if
boom,
you
I'm
become
gone.
the life of the party and they're like, oh my God, this is my cousin, Michael Bumpus.
Yeah,
you
you know.
just introduce yourself as just, I'm here.
I've met some cool people at those
Yeah.
weddings. Yeah.
Someone said, how's little Bobby going to buy a new fridge without a phone?
Little Bobby gonna walk to the store like we used to do.
Back in the day.
Sears, go get it done. Do you have Sears anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
I haven't seen a Sears since '85.
I'm sure they're there. Someone said fridge, definitely. They didn't say tablets, so I got that.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So you still have a notebook, laptop. Okay. 866-979-3776. This one's a little longer. If I could wave my wand and guarantee that Julio is an above-average player for his career, but never an MVP candidate, would you want me to wave my wand, or would you take your chance with whatever he'll become without my magic?
But we can guarantee he's above average.
You can't guarantee anything. So if it was like, let's pretend that magic is real. And let's pretend that it's like, just take your chances on whatever you think Julio will become. If you, Michael Bumpus.
That person said if I can wave my wand and he's
you're
an above
guaranteed he's
average.
above average, but never an MVP. Never an MVP.
Nah, because I think he has a few years where he'll be an MVP candidate, and that will elevate your team to the next level.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, I want the MVP status.
Imagine if this person did have a magic wand, and it's like you get one thing to use it on, and they're like, I know exactly what it's going to be. I'm going to make Julio an above-average center fielder. I know exactly. Someone said, what about beast mode? He
wore 24.
I know, but listen, I love me some Marshawn Lynch, one of the most influential athletes in this market, and certainly of the Seahawks team. Griffey.
He ain't Kobe or Griffey, though.
And Kobe feel culturally, there are just certain athletes where it's like, they're just a little different.
Yeah, in beast mode, it's not going to have a statue in front of Lumen or where the Bills play.
I don't know. People are still figuring out whether Sears is around. Okay. 866-979-3776. You have to choose the best meals at breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Breakfast?
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So I don't think a specific. It's like what has the best options.
It's dinner, because you can eat anything at dinner.
You can have breakfast for dinner
Exactly.
if you wanted to. I'm not sure what this question means. It says, is there anything in the sports world that has legit scared you?
That's legit scared me. I went to a baseball game with my kids, and we were down the first line base, and I'm like, y'all, keep your head on the swivel because foul balls are over here. And they just weren't paying attention. I'm like, listen, when the ball is thrown, you must pay attention. And that scared the heck out of me because now I'm trying to cover up my sons and my daughter. Yeah.
That's terrifying.
That scared me.
Yeah, I didn't know how to interpret that question. I was like, this legit scared me. I don't know. This is unrelated to sports, but AI scares me.
AI is terrifying.
AI scares me.
Uh-huh.
So, completely. I couldn't think of anything that scares me.
Have you been on the sidelines when football players are running out of bounds and kind of close to you?
Okay, that would be one of them. Yes, and someone was taken out. He was fine, but he got completely knocked down, legs out from under him, and had to be helped up.
Yeah.
And but I was still kind of hiding in the tunnel against the wall. I stay in my lane. I don't get too confident out there. I'm too small to be so bold.
You feel that energy out there, man. It's different.
It's crazy. I mean, the fans are. I was so impressed with I had never been to a Seahawks game as a fan where I was like that. Like, you're like next to the sideline. I'd never experienced that before. And I don't know how players hear each other. That sounds so stupid, but I don't get a chance to go to games as a fan. So, and in the press boxes, it's not soundproof, but it's very muted.
Yeah.
So you can feel shaking, but you don't really experience it. I mean, it takes up your whole body.
Yeah.
Yeah. People going to games are lucky, man. That's a cool experience.
It is.
Let's see. What I need to know, do I need to pretend to care about hockey during the Stanley Cup Finals?
No, you live your life. You don't need to pretend. If you don't like it, you don't like it, but it's...
Playoff hockey's different.
It is different.
Finals hockey is different. And it's a good series. Two really, really good teams. Florida's an unbelievable team. They're looking to repeat. You have Connor McDavid, best player in the world, who's looking for his first cup. There's an emotional element to it. Certainly, if Edmonton ends up getting it done, they're not favored.
For Canada.
And then you have him getting his first cup. There's a lot of storylines.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
866-979-3776. How many championships, I don't like this question from the 425, shame on you. How many championships will OKC win before the Sonics come back to Seattle?
2. Because they'll win this
they're young
year.
And exciting,
yeah,
right?
they'll win this year. They're going to win
Cool.
2 within the next 3 seasons. 3 to 4, they'll win 2.
866-979-3776. I just have the entire text line talking about where they would find a fridge if they didn't have phones, or whether they'd rather have I will say the majority of people are saying we need to keep fridges.
Yeah, got to maintain your food.
Guys, listen, if I forget my phone, which I've done a handful of times, do you know how often I reach for my phone? I'll be lost.
Constantly.
I'll just eat bread. I'll just eat bread and crackers and peanut butter, and that's just how I'll live my life.
All right.
Potatoes. I don't know, water.
You just have to, whatever you kill that day, you must eat. You just no storing it during the hot months.
I'm just going to eat Cheez-Its. I'm just going to eat Cheez-Its, but you know what I'm going to have? My phone, Twitter, Instagram.
Entertainment.
I'm going to be so happy. Podcasts. Wyman and Bob coming your way next.
Seahawks OTAs continue, and Seattle sports is there.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
This thing on?
It's on.
All day today with Bump and Stacy live at the VMAC at 9 a.m.
OTA is kicking off today.
Followed by Wyman and Bob right up to Mariners pregame at 5:30.
We'll talk about what stood out.
We are your eyes and ears on the sidelines at Seahawks OTAs. The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Our first Smart Challenge victory is Aaron McCoy from McCoy Home Solutions, yet another small business owner that took the First Mark Insurance Challenge. Aaron, what was the initiative to make that call?
I've got something worth preserving for the sake of the people that I serve and my family. So it's important to me.
What did you learn through the process?
The experience with First Mark has been highly professional, informative individuals that have helped me from personal to professional insurance, life insurance, policies, coverage, cyberspace. Things that I was afraid to approach were pretty easily approachable.
How would you say their customer service has been, Aaron?
Absolutely 10 out of 10. I just couldn't say anything higher about First Mark. They've executed very well on as many levels as I could rate them.
So if you're a small business owner that wants to take the stress of insurance off your plate, do what Aaron McCoy did for McCoy Home Solutions. Make the call to First Mark Insurance. They're your teammate that goes to work for you. FirstMarkInsurance.com.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit SUPLinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
The perfect Father's Day gift. Time. This year, take Dad to LeMay, America's Car Museum, to explore 100 years of rare and luxurious vehicles and get your adrenaline rush in the racing simulators. Fun for all. Visit americascarmuseum.org today.
Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement. Book a free estimate online, and when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. It's Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams primer and ceiling paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13, delivery by 8 p.m., subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is nice because you can just keep doing you. So keep on using that broken phone charger because it occasionally works. Keep quoting something you heard on a podcast as your own. Keep ignoring your sister's texts while you drive and after. And when baggage claim says, have a great trip, keep on saying, you too. And keep driving safely. And you could save with Snapshot from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.